Man, sorry for the delay, y'all. I couldn't find my mute button. What up, lifers? What up, lifers? It's Dave Life. It's Dave Life. You're watching the After Dark Podcast. This is the After Dark Podcast, episode number 300. The After Dark Podcast, episode number 300. Are you ready for a leading man? Are you ready for a leading man? Look, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us tonight. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, let's start this off like we always do, y'all, the right way. Dear Heavenly Father, have your way, Lord. I pray that you would speak to your people. I pray that you would enlighten us, entertain us, and inform us. Less of me and more of you, Lord. Have your way. Forgive us our sins that we've committed both by commission and omission. Charge to our heads and not our hearts. Let's have a wonderful conversation, and we give you all the praise and glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Yeah. We here, man. We're in the building. We're in the building. We back. Episode number 300. Episode number 300. Thanks to everybody for joining, man. Hey, if you want to support Dave Life TV and Dave Life After Dark, you can hit us on the Cash App. It's pinned below. Hit us on the Cash App at $ Dave Life TV. Hit us on Venmo at Dave Life. Hit us on Venmo at Dave Life. Send us a little coffee money, a little food money, maybe some wine money. Whatever you're into, send that to us, and we'll make sure we get it to the appropriate panelists, especially if you mention their name. So, look, I want to start this off, man, and get a little help from my friends. I got the usual suspects plus a few new people. So let me go on in here and bring up my sister from another mister. She's Jamaican. She's a goddess, and we call her Susie Pie. Come on to the stage, Susie. Susie, what up?
Hey, Dave. Hey, lifers.
How you doing, Susie?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready to have this discussion about are they ready for a leading man, Susie?
Absolutely. But Dave, what episode did you say this is?
It's episode 300. 300. 300.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you. Now look, at episode 200, I actually had balloons and I had, a little banner. We had special guests came on. In fact, Destiny and I were dating, and so I brought her up for the first time and introduced her on episode number 200. Kendra came through, so 200 was a big deal. Now, episode 300 is just as big of a deal, but I'm on the grind, man. We getting it done. So I'll stop and smell the roses a little bit later, but right now we're doing episode 300.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. I got a friend of mine. He's the host of the Too Much Game podcast. You can find it on Sundays on YouTube. You've seen him on the show before. He helped me break down the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. And by the way, ain't it appropriate that he's back after Kendrick won that Grammy? A couple of Grammys. Come on to the stage, my homeboy, Uncle Dolomite. What up, Uncle Dolly?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti.
Man, yeah, you know what? Hold on, let me just rest in peace to Irv Gotti, man. I saw that before I started the show, and I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely wanted to say that. Irv Gotti passed away. He had a series of strokes and died from a brain bleed as a result of the strokes. And he was only 54. So that's rest in peace to Irv, man. That's sad, man. Regardless of how you may feel about the whole beef that he's known for and who won or who didn't, we don't want to see anybody die at the age of 54 when they had a lot of life to live. So rest in peace to Irv, man. Uncle Dolly, man, welcome back, bro.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we still celebrating Kendrick too.
Oh yeah, Kendrick he got like 4 Grammys.
5.
Not like 5. Damn.
Yeah. The same amount that Drake has over the course of his whole career.
And Drake, no, he don't. Drake only got 5?
5.
Wow,
Kendrick got 5 for one song dissing him.
Right, and he gonna perform it at the Super Bowl.
Checkmate.
What can you say? And what was the wild part? They said he had on a Canadian tuxedo, the denim outfit. And the other wild part, I think K-Dot took a pause when he was going to the stage. When he dapped up somebody and spoke to him, he was letting the song get to a minor. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He paused and he let that song play.
Crowd sang too.
What? I was like, damn. I said, he won. He clearly won. So, question, and I'm gonna bring up the other 2 guests. Was that the greatest diss song in rap history?
No.
With
No Vaseline is
five
still the
Grammys.
greatest diss song of all time.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
What song did you say?
No Vaseline by Ice Cube.
Okay.
And then like, because honestly, Euphoria was probably the best diss song in the battle.
Oh, Euphoria was
But,
crazy.
yeah, but I think Not Like Us, just it impact wise, it had the greatest impact. But this song wise, like if you just going by
Yeah.
what was said, nah.
All
But
right.
it's up there though, just because of them Grammys. Like you can't deny that.
Well, hold on. I got somebody I see in the green room. Wave at me if you're a Rams fan.
What?
Wave at me if you're from LA. If I'm not mistaken, from Los Angeles, right? Okay, come on to the stage. This is my friend. You know what? She's an attorney, and I like having attorneys in the building. Come on to the stage, my friend Ashley H. Ashley, what's up, Ash? You got to unmute your mic for me, Ash. There you go.
Thank you.
What up, Ashley?
What's up?
How you been?
I've been very good. I feel very special to be here on episode 300. It feels like a great one to make my debut.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're here, Ashley. You are a Los Angeles native, right?
I am born and raised.
How did you feel when K-Dot won, and how did you feel, man, with the crazy wildfires that just happened?
It was amazing. It was amazing when he won, but largely because of the fires and everything that the city had gone through. It was such a just difficult emotional time. And then to see him, and he shouted out everybody and he talked about the fires, and it was just like a perfect full circle moment. So very proud of K-Dot, very proud of my city for overcoming all of that. And yeah.
That's what's up. All right. Well, thank you for joining, Ashley. We gonna help us get into this topic tonight. I got one more guy that's got to come up. Now, this guy right here, he's actually a veteran of Dave Life TV. He's been checking out the After Dark podcast when we used to call it Dave Life After Dark on Instagram, and this is his first time, I think, on YouTube. So come on to the stage and help us discuss this topic, my man, Steve Hartfield.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
Steve, what up, dog?
Oh man, we living life, living our purpose. You know how we do out here.
Absolutely. Hey man, thank you for hey y'all. Steve made it to the wedding. We had it was like we had to keep it limited, but Steve made it to the wedding.
Yeah, I had to see that. Oh man. Knowing this man for so long, I had to be there.
Yo, he met me when I was single. I remember one time I had a birthday party at Rush, and he bought some Johnny Walker Black Label, and I was like, whew.
Whiskey man. That's what I'm saying. You got to pay it forward.
Yeah, and see, Steve know me outside of podcasting. He knows me from my work life, so he's my coworker and my friend and my brother. So, and shall I say that you're a minister, sir? Do people know that you preach the gospel?
Oh yeah. So I mean, at this point in the game, I'm living the book of Acts right now. So everything that I preach, I'm putting in film. I'm teaching around the world. I mean, it's getting to the point where I just gotta the confines of four walls and the roof, it doesn't fill me no more. I got to go around the world and talk to the people. Yeah.
And you also work in production, am I right, Steve?
Yeah. So I'm the executive producer of HC Post Production. And so, started in basically 2019. I started with one film. It was about Cain and Abel. And this franchise have grown to where we're making Bible stories of feature films now. And we basically integrate crime element, martial arts, fighting, and then we actually share a story to modernize these Bible stories to just spread the word to millennials, Gen Z, keep PG-13, right? But I mean, The next plan is to get out to Brazil and create a film in Brazilian culture.
Okay, that's what's up. Shout out to Steve. Thanks, Productions, man. Hey, so, all right, y'all, we're going to get into the topic tonight. I got like 3 videos, but I'm going to start with the original one because the original one, I think, sets the tone. So I'm going to stick with the original idea. The idea is, are you ready for a leading man? So since we have 2 ladies on the show, let's just kind of get an opinion real quick. I'll give y'all 60 seconds or so. When you hear, are you ready for a leading man? You know, what does that make you think about? Let's go with Ashley.
It makes me think about a man who will be the leader of a home, the man who will be strong, exemplifies strength, direction, guidance, have a plan, be able to execute on a vision for himself, his partner, and his family. A man who just generally leads, protects, provides all the things that we, typically think that we sort of need in the structure of a relationship.
Okay. All right. Susie, when leading man, what does that mean to you?
When I hear, "Are you ready for a leading man?" I get annoyed, as I stated before, because I feel like he's going to be focused on the wrong thing. He'll be focused on trying to lead me instead of love me. And I prefer.
Hold on. Hold on. You already jumping the hour too, Susie. See, you too.
Oh,
You've been here too
sorry.
long. You've been here too long.
No, every time I hear that, I get annoyed to be led. Like, don't come in my life trying to lead me. Love me.
Right. Well, okay.
But
So
I use the word lead is synonymous for me. Like instead of I exchange that for a manly man. I like manly men. That's it.
okay, a manly man. All right. Well, I mean, we got brothers on the show. Because the other half of this was, are you ready to be a leading man? Steve, what does the term leading man mean to you, especially being someone that works in production in Hollywood?
Yeah, it's a man who's in control of his life. And I think the thing is that you have to have enough awareness about yourself to not control other people, but live a life of abundance around yourself. Because then when I know a lot of men out here in the world where they feel like the only thing they have is, just their relationship with a woman. And, when you kind of shift your mindset to pursue your purpose and your true passion, what will happen is an evolution where you become more of a man that's not only in control of his livelihood, but then you approach your woman in a role to where you know exactly what's going on with yourself, and then of course you know how to properly lead a family. But it's a lonely sport, it's a lonely road. You have to go through periods of isolation before you can evolve, become that man. And a lot of men in our culture right now, they're kind of so inundated with just becoming that dude, that nigga. But the thing is that when you leave like those programming and you shift to a man that's not only a community leader in control of what he is in his life, then you kind of think about, okay, what other things in my past have led me down this road and how can I change that? So, it all comes in alignment. You have to align with yourself before you can align with your woman.
I like how you said purpose. I like how you said purpose and focused on a man that's focused on his purpose, because that is a big part of it. Uncle Dolomite, leading man, what does that term, that phrase mean to you?
Honestly, I think it starts with confidence, being sure in yourself, being decisive, being a good decision maker. Also, somebody who I feel can compromise. Somebody who's a good listener, because in order to be a good leader, you have to at one point been a good follower. So you got to have the ability to listen, to understand, and like just being assertive. Somebody who's a forward thinker. Somebody who's proactive. Like if you see a problem, you're looking for the solution, not so much of living in the problem, but finding a solution to problems. Because I feel like us as men, that's really our job here, is to solve problems. So to be a leading man is to be a problem solver.
Okay. All right. I heard problem solver. I heard a purpose fulfiller or purpose chaser. I heard Susie, what did you say you didn't like? You said you didn't like leading. You said you liked, what was the phrase?
A manly man.
Manly. You said you like manly. And then Ashley, you said all the qualities that we would expect in a strong, decisive man. Okay. That is a great great kind of amalgamation of ideas. So let me play this first video, and I'll get you guys' opinion on this. This is a young lady that was on a podcast. Forgive me, I don't know her name offhand, but I often will take clips and use it as a springboard for a discussion. There it is. All right, so we're going to listen to what this young lady right here says. Oh, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Don't tell me I did this. You know what I might have did? I might have shared the wrong clip.
I was thinking that because that had nothing to do with.
Me too.
I watched it.
I'm kind of like, dang, she ran it for real, bro.
Good topic.
Okay, so you're gonna get fresh reactions from everybody then.
Straight up. How did I? Hold on, y'all. All right, I'm just gonna play it. Hold on.
Podcasting.
Hold on. Listen. Check it out. I think it's the right clip, but I think I extracted a different idea from the clip than what it initially sounded like. Let's just watch the clip. And you know what? This is live podcasting, so we just gonna go. We gonna go with God. So let's see what the clip is about, and then we can discuss it. All right.
So tired of this transactional relationship era that we're living in. Every single relationship that we have has to be transactional. Why? Why does it have to be what he's doing for me? What bag he bought me? What trip he took me on? Where we're going? Like, come on now. What happened to genuine love? What happened to genuinely pouring into somebody? What happened to genuinely knowing somebody? We got to get back to that. We got to go back to really, really wanting to have genuine and honest and open relationships. I'm so tired of the transactional relationships. Like, I'm so tired of this transactional relationship.
All right. So transactional relationships. Okay. Well, we're going to rock with that. We're going to rock with transactional relationships then. Welcome to episode 300, where we're discussing transactional relationships. I'll get back to the leading man aspect in a minute. But now that we've brought it up, I got a question for the panel. Are relationships... Define transactional relationship. When you think about that, what comes to mind, Susie Q? Transactional relationship. What does that mean to you?
You only do something with the expectation of getting something in return. Like when women cut off sex from their men if they're not doing certain things that they want, and men cut off finances, because that's usually what it is, sex and finances.
Mm. Okay. All right. Transactional, sex and finances. Anybody else? Transactional?
I literally look at it as a trick hoe relationship.
Okay. Define that, sir. Explain for the people that don't know.
That's what she said. Like, you know, you pat my pockets, I pat between your legs. Like, that's usually the transaction. You know, 90% of transactional relationships are, I provide the finance, you provide the romance.
And romance with no finance is a damn nuisance, as they say. All right. Anybody else? Transaction.
Yeah, I'll just add quickly. Doing something in exchange for something else. I mean, that's literally the definition of any transaction. But I think the key is in relationships is when that's all you're looking for, because every relationship, even healthy ones, there is some exchange. So there is some level of, I'm doing this for you, you're doing that for me. But I think where it goes left is when that's all that there is the transaction.
All right. So that was a very lawyer answer. Quid pro quo. You do something for me. This ain't nothing for free, right? I hear you, Ashley. So question about that. And this is for the crew, is a transactional relationship bad?
There's somebody for everybody. I'm sure it works for somebody. You know, some dudes are natural tricks. That's their love language. Just as well as some women, they got a whole lot of hoe bones in their body. So they okay with that too. That's some people's love language. Some people's love language is literally giving and receiving gifts.
Right.
It works for some people.
So, okay,
Ashley
Steve.
made a good point earlier. She said the first half of what she said is like, to a certain extent, all relationships are transactional. She didn't necessarily say it had to be financial or material, because if I give someone love, I want love in return. So that's transactional, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
If I give somebody love, I want love in return. That deals with last night's discussion, which was about expectations. We talked about on episode 299, expectations are one of the biggest causes of failures in relationships. Expectations. Now, when I played the clip last night, everybody was like, no, you got to have expectations. There's a bare minimum. And we understand that. But if you always look for something in return, like I did this, so you need to do that, that is when it becomes transactional. And I think Ashley said that when it's all the time, that's all that you have, that's when it becomes defined as a transactional relationship. But I don't want to steal everybody's thunder. Steve, is a transactional relationship bad? Is there a good transactional relationship, or is it all pimping and hoeing, like Uncle Dolomite said?
I mean, look, if you got it, then don't complain about it. And that's the thing, is that some men, they feel like they have to have the certain materials to feel like a man. But I guess you have to start thinking about what can you give instead of what can you take. But like, just like Uncle was talking about, like, there's somebody for everybody out in this world. But the thing is that how long can it last? So it's always going to be a time limit on a good thing. It just depends on, okay, if you're willing to just give something freely without expecting anything in return, then you might be that kind of guy. But if you're really trying to think like, okay, who can you give something to and what can they give you, then you start thinking of, okay, I want to be willing to give myself to a person instead of, okay, what they got for me, But at the end of the day, I mean, you still got to get something. I mean, it's not like the come up's not going to be free, but
But I thought there was such thing as agape and unconditional love, right?
I mean, that's how that's how you know, like Will Smith. I mean, you go through like the internal destruction of yourself without considering that, okay, maybe this is not the type of level of respect that I want in my life. But if you think unconditional love is your ticket to like your higher self, then you live your life, you make your choices. But there has to come a level of self-respect you have for yourself before you can really just consider unconditional love something to just give out freely. So
yeah, the only unconditional
Even
love is
nature is
between the mother and the
transactional.
child.
Exactly.
Say it
The,
again.
on, the only unconditional love is between the mother and the child.
I
yes.
agree.
Like, but between me and a woman, like, it's only so long I can give before I feel like I should receive something. Like, of course, in relationships, you still give love when you may not feel loved at the time, because people go through things. Like, you don't know what somebody could be going through, so sometimes you gotta love a little harder. But everybody has their limits. Like, you come to a point where it's like, okay, are you going through something, or are you just going through my pockets?
Right.
Yeah.
Susie, you were saying something earlier when we were all
I'm
talking.
sorry, you keep throwing me with stuff.
Huh?
I need a notepad, the whole bone. What else you said?
He got him, man. He got him.
Yeah, Uncle Dolby got the phrases. He got the lingo. He got the
I
lingo.
am thrown off. Okay, I don't even know what.
Oh man.
Move on, leave me behind. I don't know what I was even thinking.
So I got a question. When the lady in the meme said, "I'm tired of transactional relationships. I'm tired of it." Right? Can we get back to love? We've had this discussion on the podcast before. We got to go back and look at some old episodes. I think that, Steve, and the reason I said agape love, I think that we as people in 2025 have gotten far away from the old traditional values in the good book, the stuff we were taught as kids, right? Love your enemy, love your neighbor, be a good Samaritan, help, bless those that despise you, be of service, to your neighbor, and then likewise be of service to your spouse. I think we lost that. And I think somewhere, and Uncle Dolomite, I think it went back to the Yin Yang twins when they was like, wait till you see my girl. Wait till you
Out.
see my yeah, out. Right. When they went out, when they I think stripper culture, when it took over hip hop, I think that's when this transactional thing left the grown up world of pimps and hoes and now it's down into the adolescent world of just dating relationships. Like you starting everybody transactional because everybody want, well, if he ain't doing nothing for me, I ain't doing nothing for him. Well, if she ain't, putting out, I ain't even gonna buy her dinner. Damn, so we
That
can't even buy
came.
dinner no more without getting none. And we can't just take a
You
woman on a
skipping
date.
something, David.
What I
You,
skip?
you
Because
because that originated when men stopped when men forgot how to love women, when men started cheating so much and women stay home crying, and then they leave and go to the new girl's house, and then they're trying to figure out how to take care of the kids they left, and they're trying to figure out how to pay the bills and all that. So now they're like, if they're going to get cheated on, mind you, I'm saying I'm not transactional, but if they're going to get cheated on, they might as well get paid for it. If they're not going to get loved and cherished and emotionally satisfied, then at least let me have something. I think that's where that came from.
Okay.
That's such a good point. And I'm so happy you said that, because I feel like in this day and age, this social media world, the clips, the ones that go viral, it's always talking about like, oh, women just want a bag, or women just want a man with money. And it's like, really? Because have you ever met there's not many women who don't want their man to be faithful and loyal, but somehow that has gotten so lost, and all we talk about is women who want a bag. But I'm like, women have wanted a man to be loyal, a good father, a good character, and all these things. But Susie's point is a good one. Has it shifted because of maybe not getting those things?
But I think a lot of it is how romanticized infidelity has become. Because cheating
Yes.
is not a new concept. A lot of our favorite songs from the 50s and 60s was about cheating. Like a lot of
True.
us, if we was to honestly talk to our grandparents about their relationships, there was a whole lot of infidelity back in those days. It just wasn't so publicized. It wasn't a situation where it was discussed amongst the community like it is now. Like now we got so many side chick and side nigga memes. In society, it's just like such a big thing. Like, not to say that it's okay. Like I'm not justifying infidelity, but at the same time, like it's become such a big conversation when it comes to relationships. And like, a lot of times art imitates life and vice versa. So a lot of what's in our music, like we've gotten away from love music. Like back in the day, a lot of our favorite songs in the 70s, 80s, and before that was
Yeah,
literally
love
love
songs.
songs.
Uh-huh.
Now, where do you see my dick? I was
Mm-hmm.
getting
Out.
some head,
Yep.
wet ass pussy, and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we've gotten away from where love was on the forefront. And a lot of it, just like when you talk about biblically, like a whole lot of the things that we was taught biblically to do, turning the other cheek, start leaving us with our face hurting.
Yeah.
So now a whole lot of people are doing what they do to get the best out of every situation, as opposed to, just being okay with being vulnerable.
Well,
I was just about to say that word, that vulnerability. Now that we're all exposed on social media, nobody wants to risk being hurt, because if they're hurt, it's going to be exposed. So now these women, when I say these women, I don't mean every woman, but a lot of women have become masculine, and now they're acting like they don't have emotions. They acting like they don't get hurt when their man cheats. They be like, they want to screw somebody else, man. I got the bag. They act like it doesn't bother them. When really, if they have money, they want to show that to cover up the pain of them not being enough for that man to marry them, or for that man to be faithful to them. And the same thing with a lot of guys. They don't want to be vulnerable. So now they use other things to cover it up, because they're going to be on the shade room or whatever else being exposed just for loving somebody and it not working out the way it should.
yeah.
Yeah, because
I
they
think
say catch flights, not feelings.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
I'm telling you, we've been socially programmed to be able to be those disconnected. And if you got a chance to, really see other cultures and how they interact with each other, Americans are seen as so cold. I mean, you know, I might go throughout a day where I might just see somebody that, you know, is attractive, but it's just like it feels like there's a invisible wall between me and somebody else. And, you know, it could be at the gym, it could be out in public, but you know, we really have been like, you know, really engineered to be able to think as if, you know, if the person doesn't have anything for me, I ain't got nothing for them. And, you know, people are just so scared of being able to like open up to another person that, I mean, come on, you know, like you're not going to get anywhere unless you kind of just, you know, take the first step out on the ledge. But, you know, nobody wants to be on that shade room, bro. That's worse than death.
Well,
That's
you know,
worse than death.
the call. So we touched on a few things. We touched on pimp and hoe culture. We touched on transactional culture, and I say that started like in the strip clubs, but it started probably before that, but it got popularized in younger stages with the strip clubs. Just like gangster music made being a tough guy popular. You know, when I was a kid coming up in Chicago, you know, you didn't want to just be. It wasn't popular. Like you didn't play with that. Is what I'm trying to say. You understand? Like people that was in the street life and was banging, you didn't play with it. Like it was a serious thing. Now you got, like they said, even B2K, you know, crip walking like that's what's up or whatever they said in the song.
That's what
The
they
po-
said.
But the point is, and Dola, you could probably speak on that part of it. Young kids thought it was cool to be, you know, banging and then the worst side of it would be criminal or whatever else, right? When I was a kid, man, we was playing with G.I. Joe and Transformers and Thundercats. We wasn't, if you got pulled in, you got pulled in, but we wasn't trying to necessarily. So I think that music has made us not be what we were once taught to be, which was humble, God fearing, you know, looking out for others versus looking out for ourselves. Um, what you think? You think the music also played a part in being a tough guy when you really don't need to be unless you just are pulled into it for real, for real?
Definitely, because a lot of it is, because I'm from Compton. I'm a gang member. Like with us, it was the lifestyle that we was raised in. Like family, my mom, my uncles, my aunties, we all from the set. But like when it comes to a lot of other states, they got it from NWA. They got it from Boys in the Hood. They got it from
Right,
Menace to Society.
right,
Like the music industry and the movie industry made it look cool. So to
Yeah.
them, it started out as a costume and became a lifestyle.
right.
Because at first they just wanted to dress like us. But then
Mm,
when, we would go to these places and they would have a chip on their shoulder and have something to prove, like, oh no, I really live it too. I don't just dress like this. I really live like this. To the point where now you got suburban kids running around with Glocks with switches on them. And it's like, what do you have this for? You live in a
mhm.
5-bedroom house. You got both your parents. Why do you want to live this lifestyle? Because the musician made it sound cool. It started with NWA and it just morphed into now like rappers want to be real.
Right.
Like if you a rapper and you ain't been to prison, it's like don't nobody care about your story. And sadly, not to blame them, but I think 50 Cent accelerated it
You think so?
because back in the day with NWA, like you thought they was real, but you didn't really know.
Yeah,
A lot of
they
rappers
didn't bang on wax.
yeah, they story sounded real, but you didn't know. But when 50 Cent came out, it's like he really been shot. He
Yeah,
really been locked up. He got mug shots. This
I'll
is
give
what we
you,
want. We want a real rapper now.
I give you the one right before that though. Hey, who I love, but he made a questionable decision playing for Trump. Snoop, like the death row era popularized, or at least I won't say popularized, put in front of us both sides, like on wax. Like you said, with the Easy E's, you kind of heard, you kind of, if you was in the know, you was in the know, but you wasn't
Yeah,
really sure because they didn't really promote it. They just like, yo, this is who I am. This is my lifestyle.
yeah. This, this,
So,
this is the lifestyle that's around us.
right,
They always promoted it as I'm just telling y'all what's happening around
right,
because Easy
right,
was a real one. Like
right.
I talked about by like 2 episodes about Snoop. Snoop wasn't. Snoop, he's a great actor. He's good at playing the role of a gangster. And Snoop Dogg is the anti-gangster. There's nothing gangster about Snoop. Snoop ride the fence. If you know anything about Snoop historically, Snoop is real good at, I think there's good people on both sides. You know, he just ride what he think is popular. You know,
Yeah.
back in the day when he said that about Trump, because he knew Trump was that guy to hate.
Mm-hmm.
This time,
He playing.
there's a lot more black people that's kind of leaning toward Trump. So I feel like he felt like, you know what? I don't think it'll be that bad to go over there now because number one, it's going to be profitable. And number two, when you looked at the vote, there was a lot of people that kind of leaned over that way.
Snoop is traditionally one of my favorite artists. People used to say I sound like him when I do karaoke. I mean, I don't know, maybe nasal sound. But not to judge him, but I was disappointed when he did the Trump thing straight up. And I'm saying not to judge him because I don't want to claim to know his motivations, right? But I was super disappointed because, you know, he came out and said one thing and then years later he did another. Now, granted, Dolly, they said it was the crypto ball and it wasn't really the inauguration. But did anybody else here? Did Snoop play the actual inauguration? And we're gonna bring it right back to transactional. I found my clip too on Leading Men, so pulling it back in. But did anyone else hear that he played at the inauguration itself?
No,
or was it just the crypto bowl or whatever they call it?
He didn't play at the inauguration, but we all know that crypto ball was an event attached to the inauguration.
It was a pre-party.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a pre-party.
So you know what you was doing.
Yeah.
You can talk that crypto shit all you want to, but we knew what you did.
Somebody like Dog, man, he's too smart not to have those strategies in place, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's just that, you know, you've been in the game for so long, you know, and you have your success, but it's just kind of like, okay, I know you got your publicists. I know people are talking like, how do you market yourself? And I mean, you know, ever since he got on with Martha Stewart, right? I mean, getting paid millions of dollars a day to be on NBC for the Olympics.
NBC. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The man is intentional about what he does. So, I mean, if he's going to ride the fence to get the next bag, then you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt.
And you know, going back to the earlier conversation on being a black person, having a voice, even if it's a podcaster, having a voice, having a public opinion or a public image, we have a responsibility. If Uncle Dolly get on this show and say, or even the Too Much Game podcast and say, hey man, F Donald Trump. I see you, Steve. Wave at me when you're ready. Hey Dave, F Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't for minorities. He's for himself. It's all about the bottom line. I'm like, yeah, Dolly, you're right. And you know, and we talk about it. And then 4 years later, when Trump is back in power and it looks like, you know, Dolly can benefit somehow. I mean, Trump ain't that bad. It looks bad as a black person and with a voice. It looks bad because it's like, what do you stand for? So that was a little bit of a disappointment. And we're circling right back to the idea of leading men. But go ahead, Ashley, and then Susie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I was hugely disappointed by Snoop as well. Somebody who's from LA. I've always loved Snoop. But if we do try to give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he didn't know or something, which I don't agree with, but he could have come out and said something. I mean, the man is one of the most famous people on the planet. Like you said, he has publicists. He could have crafted something. He could have tried, but he posted something on social media that was like kind of alluding to like, oh, I hurt feelings and I don't care. Now, I don't know if that was directly related, but it kind of seemed like maybe he was thumbing his nose. So it's hard to then think that, oh yeah, he didn't know. It seems like he doubled down.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He knew what he was doing. You know, that's why he never cut his comments off. But what you was going to say, Susie? Because I think it was your turn.
It's okay. It's okay. You could lead. But when you said, Dave,
hold on. I had to give you the clap for that. I was late. But yeah, I see you pulling the topic.
But you were saying, like you gave the example, what if Unc came on here and said F Donald Trump, and then later on when it could benefit him, he says, you know, he's all right. Yeah. That goes back to the other show we did see, this is why I pay attention to what people say. When someone says they vote for their own interest, right?
Yes.
If their interest happens to go that way, would they be wrong for now saying, you know what, I support him because it benefits me?
Okay, so let's talk about that. This is a great moment to talk about it. If a person says, and I know exactly, and we're not calling nobody out, but I'm gonna go ahead and say
Absolutely
the
not.
no. I'm gonna say the name. I'm gonna say the name because I know he would back it up. Shiraz said,
Okay.
I vote with my pocketbooks." That's what Shiraz said. Shiraz said, "I vote with my pocketbooks." He may not be who you were referring to when you said vote my interest, but that's who
It
came to
was.
my mind. All right. So Shiraz said, "I vote with my pocketbooks," and I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Bruh, I'm a military vet. I care about veterans. And, when sometimes if a Republican is in office, they have better policies for vets. You get more money back into the federal government. They believe in military. And sometimes Democrats will play the fence and will not give as much budget to the military. And, Steve, when you and I did work, in the military, we saw that when we were at war or when we had a Republican in office, a federal contracts was flowing.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
dog
and
and
I'm
pony show
and
is
I
real.
and I'm not saying the dog and pony show is real. And I'm not saying that it didn't flow with Democrats, but I'm saying you clearly saw a flow with Republicans. So I can understand why if a person says I'm gonna vote with my pocketbook and they're military, retired, what have you, and there's some benefit, I can understand that. The thing is, Susie, not even calling out my homie Rod. I'm just saying with anybody, just say what you're going to do, and if you stick to that, then at least I knew that's where you were. And I can respect the person that says, "Hey, I'm gonna stand on my ground. This is where I'm at with it, and love me or hate me, but this is where I'm at." Because at least I know. The problem with, like Dolly said, with Snoop was, damn, we felt one thing and it was so strong and outspoken. Which one of you coons is going to tap dance and take the money and go play at the inauguration? I'm gonna be the first one to
Chrisette
judge.
Michelle did it. Chrisette Michelle did it. I believe that was Chrisette Michelle,
It
right?
was, and they ended their career.
They
And
absolutely did. She is done for. But does Snoop owe you guys? Like, does Snoop owe
yeah,
us to tell us anything, or does he owe his family to take care of them?
his fan
Like,
base.
we need to stop looking at celebrities as our leaders.
But
Like,
Well,
see,
he has to.
I think for me personally, it's just me. I have a hard time with single issue voters. It's just honestly the same thing in a relationship. People are just looking for one thing.
Single
It,
issue voters. Can I
yeah,
Oh
please?
yeah, I love that.
You know?
it, I
yeah,
struggle with that because there are so many aspects of life, society, this world, this country. It's so dynamic. So to just pigeonhole yourself on one issue, you could go so far down the rabbit hole in this one issue. But the person you're voting for could mean that, I mean, the worst case scenario, other people are going to be not taken care of, or going to, lose their health care, lose their homes, their lives, So
Exactly.
single issue, yes, your family is your most important thing, but I have a hard time even thinking that one issue defines your whole family's
I
life.
give it. I
but
give you an example, Ashley. I give you an example. Hey, I'm not gonna vote Democrat because I don't like the LGBTQ trans agenda. Right? I'm not gonna do that. But if I vote Republican, I mean, you never know. I might lose other rights. Black people might not have affirmative action or DEI. Women might not be able to have the right to choose. So,
yeah,
all because I'm so against one point of policy, I'm just gonna overlook others. And
and
I love that single point of voter comment.
Yeah.
I'm using that.
yeah,
Let's see.
and
And that's why I said what I said the other night. That was well said, Ashley. You and Uncle, I need a notepad next time you guys are on the show, whether I'm on the panel or not. I just need to take notes. But that's exactly what my point was the other night, when I'm like, that's why friendships can end when people vote for certain things and they stand on it. Because what if that one thing you're voting for causes 10 other things to hurt me? And
Yeah.
like, you're gonna hurt me, and you're standing on it so strongly that makes me know that I have to back away from you because you're a part of the pain I'm about to feel. So
And
that was well said.
can I circle back? I
Go
see you,
ahead.
Dolly. I see you, Dolly. I want to say this one thing. I want to circle back to something me and Destiny said in private. Before we got married, we were just talking about black people, right? And I was like, babe, I love my race. I love black people. But there are times when I got to worry about me and my own. As for me and my house, meaning I'm about to marry Destiny. As for me and you, babe, we're gonna do this. Now, if we get to a certain point, then I can worry about the community. And she said, I understand that. But she was also like, hey, community is big. Like the problem with Black folks is we don't band together as a whole like we should, like other communities do. We could do ourselves a favor by picking up some of the bonding that other communities do. Right. And I said, I agree. But then I threw this out there. I said, but you always got some people that ain't gonna go with it. They're selfish. They're not gonna be selfless when you're asking them to be. So let's circle it back. Leading man. I'm expecting Snoop to stand on what he said 4 years ago. Then he goes and gets the money. Now, maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe he got paid in some crypto and he's like, man, this is about to really bless my pockets. And I've been in this crypto thing because I heard Snoop was really into crypto and NFTs. Maybe he knew and got the grapevine and heard something and was like, yo, you come do this inauguration. I ain't paying you in dollars. I'm gonna pay you in crypto. And when this blow up the way we expect it to go, because this new administration is focused on crypto and AI, you gonna be good, brother Snoop. Maybe it was something like that, and it was an offer he couldn't refuse. But when you took such a strong stance 4 years prior, I think as a community leader, you got to say, I'm not going to take that bag just because it's a great bag, but all money ain't good money. That's what I would hopefully do in a situation like that, is say, I got to think about my people and the image and who I am in the community. And I got to set an example. I hope that I would do. I'm saying I hope because I don't know how much the bag was.
Who's our community leaders, Dave? You said he's a community leader.
But the
Can you
thing
guys
is,
like name 3 community leaders?
but it's like this. Malcolm X said this in the Ballad of the Bullet. Like, we shouldn't be assigning leadership to entertainers, comedians, and all of these type of people. Malcolm X said that shit in the 60s. But at the same time, as not the leader of Black people, but a leader of people in general, Snoop does owe it to his following to give them an understanding of what he's doing.
Okay.
So even if it was a situation of him getting the bag or him having some type of leg up on crypto, he could have gave it an understanding before he even did that shit.
I understand. Yeah.
He could have been like, look, I got this crypto thing going on. Black people, I got this. This is something we should do. Here's a link to it. I know it looks away, but this is what I'm doing. Because, there's times that, me as a husband, if I'm doing something that my wife deems to be questionable, there's an understanding that I owe her. Look, baby, I'm doing this because of this. I know it might look away, but, just as your husband, so you still can trust my leadership, I'm going to give you an understanding of why I'm doing something. It's the same as when you're a parent with your kids. Sometimes as a parent, you want to explain to your kids that, you might not understand right now why I'm doing this, but as your parent, I'm going to explain to you, this is why I'm making this move, even though you might not understand why I'm doing it. Same with what Snoop did. Like, I don't give a fuck how much money he made. Nigga, after the shit happened and everybody in your comments calling you every Sambo in the book, nigga, you posting some sports betting shit and you not even addressing the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But again, like, that's why I say Snoop is the anti-gangster. Because if you was gonna stand on it, you'd have stood on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that was the episode that you had listened to, Dave, when you came to the log, but I talked about that shit in the episode. Like, nigga, if you gonna stand on the shit. If you gonna say what you gonna say, stay there.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can double back and go do something else, the least you could have did was say, look, this is why I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing, and it is what it is. It's the same as when he called Gayle King a funky dog head bitch.
Dog face. It was bad.
If you gonna say that with your fucking chest, say it with your chest. But when you go on the Red Table Talk and let them spank you, it ain't nothing gangster about you.
So now we're getting into some serious topics when it comes to being a leading man. And I know earlier I said, are you ready for a leading man? And then the first clip was about transactional relationships. Well, I found the leading man clip. The transactional piece was going to be like the second half of the show. So we kind of did it in reverse. I don't believe, this is Dave talking, I don't believe a transactional man is a strong leader. I think that a transactional man, and Ashley, you said it, when it's only transactional, that's selfish, man. That's selfish. If everything is, hey, fair exchange, no robbery. I paid you. I feel like I need something in return. For instance, back in the day, we would take a girl to dinner, buy some wine, try to get to know her, take her out a couple days. We didn't expect sex immediately. Today's world, hey, am I getting something tonight? Okay, then cut that check in half. I ain't getting none, cut the check in half. And it's like, I understand you want some, but damn, we don't value a woman enough to say, let me really just get to know you and not make it about just getting some because I provided, I sponsored, like we got to stop that, man. I feel like transactional thinking, especially as a man, is a weakness. Like, don't get me wrong, business is business, but I don't think a love relationship should be business. And I was trying to get back to that point, Steve, biblically, man, agape love, unconditional love, right? Corinthians 13, right? If I speak with the tongues of men and angels, but I don't have love, I'm just like a tinkling cymbal. I'm just making noise if I'm speaking in tongues, but I don't love. We gotta love. And I feel like when you don't love and you make it transactional, I think that's a weakness. That's not a strong man. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think the big thing that a lot of men kind of get confused about is that when they go through this paradigm shift of not only becoming just a boy, but also taking responsibility for your actions as a man, those are implications that you have to take seriously in your life. And, a lot of us, we see the past self that we are, and it looks fun, it looks sexy, that, like a lot of guys nowadays, if they're not out and about, they feel like they losing themselves, they lame, you know what I'm saying? But the really strong, confident man is somebody that is he accepts being bored sometimes. He accepts being at home, being at the house to focus on his craft, and I mean, yeah, you get out in the world and you try to change the world, but the world ends up changing you instead. And so now, you have men out in the world where, you're not considering somebody else's presence as a gift. And, after a while, it just gets to where, okay, if this girl ain't going out with me at night, then shit, I'm just gonna get the next one, right? But when you get out and you really understand that, okay, this person actually took the time out of the day to just kind of be in my presence and kind of be in front of me, well, let's just see, and, just see this connection there, number one. And then if it don't work out, it don't work out, man. And that's the thing about, you got to feel yourself so much to where that love can pour out into other people. But, if you're thinking that, okay, I got to get this one or else she's going, ruin my night, I'm going to be cooked, right?
Yeah.
But it's just kind of thinking to yourself like, okay, if I can be able to build myself to such a level to where that kind of result, I mean, that's such a lower level of thinking, man. I mean, have you ever thought about the idea that having a woman in front of you that really likes you for what it is? You think that's considered a gift for myself in particular, right? So, after a while, it's like, you know what, bro? I'm not even looking for sex, man. I'm just looking for somebody to spend time with, to have a good conversation with, because after you've done it all, after you traveled around the world and, you slept with so many different women, it's just kind of like, all right, man, what else is out there, bro? I know there's more out there.
I'm gonna tell you that the next step is I gotta retire from being a player. I gotta find me a wife. It gets old. It gets old. You're looking at a 51-year-old. I got married at 50. It's my second marriage. My first marriage was at 28. Like, it's a long time to go from 35 to 50. It's a long time to be divorced, looking for a wife. The living in LA, Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can, Dolly, y'all can understand being out in LA, single, going through divorce, trying to find a wife, and it's women. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah. Yeah, sometimes you gotta say, I'm done. This is how I found destiny. I said, I can't find a relationship if I keep dealing with situationships. And I had to make a decision to stop just hanging out and being with women just because I can. Like, chill, sit down, find a wife, stop making everything, you do something for me, I do something for you. Nah, I had to chill.
That's
But
the big thing for what men go through, bro. It's like there comes a time in your life when that life-changing decision has to change your patterns, your behavior, your habits. And those second and third degree, like, choices that you're making, that puts you on a new path, bro. But like you said, if you feel like you gotta be out and about and feel like if you feel worth from being on the scene like that, then
Party
you'll miss
man.
that cycle.
Yeah,
But
party man.
It does seem like that change might be happening a little later in life now.
Yeah.
Right? If you think about the culture, which way it's going, to Steve's point about how you should be valuing people and not just looking at people like kind of in a line of, if you can't do anything for me, then see yourself out of this dinner. But this is a dating app world culture. And that is literally what it is. People are in a lineup. Do guys even like
Have a roster?
Yeah, you have a roster. So I'm like, I don't even know if guys go up to approach women in real life anymore, because you could just get on the app and keep
They do both.
Yeah, but like I feel like a lot of it is a lot of these niggas wasn't raised with a man in their house, so they don't know what a man is.
Yeah, you spoke on that before.
A lot of men are learning on the job. Like they didn't see their father do manly shit. Like they don't know what love look like because they never seen a man love their mother. So they kind of figuring out what a lot of that shit look like as grown adults. So it's like, if you don't know what a man look like, if you don't know what love look like, you don't really know love. A lot of these niggas want that attention because they have the disposition that they learned from their mother. Their mother was the man in their house. Their mother is the only thing that they know of a man. So they want to emulate what their mom was. That's why a lot of niggas will get a mama a Father's Day gift. Like, that's cool. Like that's what masculinity is to them. What they saw of their mother. That's why they want attention. That's why they want to go out. That's why they want a whole lot of the things that women value. You see a lot of men valuing those same things, but it's because that's what they saw as leadership. A lot of what they saw, the qualities in their mother, was what they see as leadership. So they lead like a woman instead of leading like a man.
Can I say something? Like, dang, I was going to respond to what Steve said. So I'm going to just, I try to do it quick so we can move forward. To what you said, like, the reason why a lot of guys try to be gangster that aren't gangster, it isn't for the violent part. It's for the attention. It's not them trying to be an actual gangster. They want the attention that the gangsters get. They want the women that the gangsters attract. And that's a male thing. I agree with the other things you said about the woman, the sons looking at the moms, but I feel like the attention seeking comes from athletes and gangsters. The attention that those kind of guys get, that's what they try to emulate. And as far as Steve said, how you said it's like a gift, you appreciate having a woman in front of you who actually likes you for you and, decided to spend their time with you. It's been my experience in my city that a lot of men don't really know their worth outside of material and financial things. That's why I don't allow a man to buy me anything or give me anything until we become in an actual relationship. And once I cut them off from doing that, they're usually like lost as to how to proceed. And that's when I know, like, I can't, you have a little more work to do because you don't know your value outside of material things. I don't want anything from you. I'm self-sufficient. That's not why I don't want anything from you. I just want you to focus on showing me who you are so we can see if we actually mesh well together. And a lot of men in my area, I can't speak for everywhere, don't know who they are outside of material things.
Yeah.
And on that note, because it's about to be my bedtime because I got to work tonight. I'm just going to leave y'all with this. Women, if you looking for a man today, ask him this question. What can you provide for me besides dick, money, and protection? If he draw blank, he ain't shit. But
boom. Uncle Dolly, appreciate you, bro. I'll see you next
Good
time
night.
on Next Door, man. Man, Uncle Dolly, like, man, I wish you could stay longer, Dolly. I do. We need
man,
to.
I wish I could too, but
yeah. And look,
got work
hold up. Just because I know you got to go, I found the clip I just want to play the clip before you leave because you might have a reaction. I actually found the clip that was the setup of the show.
Saw a meme that said, I like my man a little strict. I want to listen. But do y'all really? Because I saw so many girls repost that, and I'm like, y'all don't want to listen to nobody. You want to listen when it's convenient to you. You want to listen if a man's telling you, hey, baby, come get some of this money. But do you want to listen when someone's trying to help you, when someone's trying to improve you, when you have to hear something that you don't want to hear that's uncomfortable? Then you got a problem. Then you ready to move on. Then you ready to go to the next person. Like, don't these memes and this internet stuff, like, let's be for real. Do you really want to listen? Do you really like a strict man?
That was the setup, Dolly. Anything before you go? You just said that. If he can't provide more than just dick, what is he there for? The question is, what if a man is trying to be that leader, you know, that example? Is she willing to listen?
I feel like any woman will submit to the right man. I don't feel like there's a woman on this planet that won't submit to a man that she views as a real leader. Like I've said it 1,000 times. I've never had a problem with submission. I've never met a woman who wouldn't submit. That's never been an issue I've had. Like, I know niggas have it. I know they say it like, oh, these women won't submit. A woman won't submit to a woman or to a man who she feels is a bigger bitch than her. If a woman views you as a man that displays feminine qualities, a woman feels like she's smarter than you, or she's a better leader than you, or she can do something without you, she'll never submit. A woman only submit to a man that she feels provides actual value to her. If she feel like you're not valuable, she'll never submit.
Boom. On that note, I'll let you go. Appreciate you, Uncle Dolly. I'll see you next show, my man.
That's the way to leave right there. That's how
My
you
man,
drop
Uncle
the
Dolly,
mic.
yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Drop.
So that was the clip. The clip here is, if you do find, she said a man that's strict. She said, if you do find a man that's strict, are you ready for that? Are you ready for a man to lead you? Are you ready for a man to be in leadership? Now, I want to preface that statement with this. Dave ain't talking about misogyny, and Dave ain't talking about abuse. When I talk about a man that's a leading man, a man that can lead, I'm talking about in the vein of Christ, like dying for the church, dying for your wife, submitting your body as a sacrifice, like doing your best to lay on the line and provide for that woman as a servant leader, not just a leader that's like pointing the finger, but an actual doer. I'm going to go and do and show how we need to be moving, right? Especially in the eyes of God. If a man's doing that, then I ask, what do you do when you find that man? Can you handle a leading man when you find that man? We're not talking about abusive. We're not talking about wilding out. We're talking about a man that actually deserves the honor of being a leader because he's doing it the right way. Do you feel, Ashley or Susie, do y'all feel that women in 2025 may have an issue with leadership? Or I'm talking about if they do find a good man, you think that, or like Dolly said, there won't be an issue if he's doing what he needs to do?
Ash, you could go first if you like.
I agree with Dolly. I think that women will submit for the right man, and I mean this even of women who are, maybe have alpha tendencies and maybe are boss women and kind of doing their own thing, career driven women or whatever, because a lot of times the notion about them is that, oh, they are independent women. Somehow that's become a bad phrase now. They're independent women, and so they don't need a man. I really don't think that is most women. I think most women, even if they are doing their thing on their own, they will still, two things can happen at the same time. I think they will submit to a man. But again, like you said, there's certain things that have to be in place. Like you have to be a leading man, as we're describing it. You got to have a vision.
Yeah.
You got to know how to execute. You got to, and one thing we haven't talked about, emotional intelligence. Like,
Oh wow.
You know, it's not all of the strength and just the physical brute male, you know, character. It's also the emotional side. Because have you ever been in a relationship that didn't have emotions involved? Like, no. So you have to master that aspect, and you know, lead her from an emotional perspective as well. And I think that is such a big thing. And if you do, I think she's submitting.
Ashley, I got a question real quick about emotions, right? Um, I'm hearing so many websites and ads that are trying to, and Steve, you might be able to speak to this too, being a man. I'm seeing so many ads, right? And you know, promotions that say to a man, you don't need to have emotions. Be stoic. Stoicism has shown that men do not respond. A real man, Andrew Tate will say this. A real man's not gonna have emotions. He's not gonna respond. He's not moved. But you mentioned, Ashley, emotional intelligence, right? I am someone who got criticized back in the day for, oh, Dave is in touch with his emotions. Dave, come on, Robbie Romance. Come on, Dave. But when I met a woman that got it, a woman like, no, 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 no. You have a high emotional quotient. I'll never forget that statement. I said, damn, I never thought about that. A high emotional quotient. They were like, you get it and you can explain it. Whether I agree with your opinion or your emotions or your take is irrelevant. The point is you can articulate that and you know exactly how you feel. There are men out here that don't know how they feel. And if they do, can't articulate it.
Yeah.
Or if they articulate it, it's one shift, is go. And everything is yeah. And I used to get criticized, you know, for I'll say specifically my ex-wife. She was like, I didn't understand what I had when we were together. She said you would come home, hey, how was your day? What happened at work? What's going? Oh, really? Dag. What? Well, I thought that person said, and I'd be like, well, how you feel about that? And she was like, I didn't get it. She was like, I'm more like a guy. I'm more like military. I'm like, David, leave me alone. I just want to wind down. You were simply trying to understand me. She told me this when she started dating another military man and was like, he don't talk, David. This is like years ago when I was single. She was like, he don't talk. And I feel like you did. I'm the communicator. I'm the open one. And this man is a wall. And she was like, and used to tell me I was a wall. And I said, look, I'm not trying to say I told you so. But that's what I was trying to say when we were together. A lot of women want a man that can articulate how they feel. And then, Steve, the fine line is, can we articulate how we feel without a woman emasculating us and calling us metro or calling us soft?
Yeah.
Because I have emotions and I express it. And and again, I'm not talking about, excuse my language, in a bitch ass way. I'm just trying. I got to say that the way we understand it. I'm not talking about in some whack way. I'm talking about in a really clear, but honestly, emotionally intelligent way. Some people in today's world will criticize a man for having emotions and expressing them. Then 10 years later, when they learn the game, they say, oh, I want a man that can express himself. Can you speak on that, Steve?
Yeah, man, that's the deeper love of the game, bro. Is just that when you kind of get over the hyper macho phase of your life, where like, okay, if I want to be that dude, I got to have all the women, I got to have all the cars, I got to have all the clothes, right? Then, that's when that period of isolation begins, because you got to find a new tribe. You got to align yourself with men that are living at a higher level, right? And so, who would I be as a man if I wasn't able to not only, be the strong male presence that people need to see, but also be able to be a heartfelt, leader, a heartfelt human, right? And that's the thing, is that when you talk about emotional intelligence, you have to be so in tune with yourself that you can be able to face all kinds of different objections and angles from different ideas and mindsets and still remain solid in who you are, right? And so, you got guys like Andrew Tate walking around and thinking that, the ultra macho lifestyle is going to bring a man validation, right? We're talking about the common man here. We're not talking about social media where they publicize only 10% of the population, maybe, right? We're talking about the common man that goes to work to pay his bills, to make sure his family eats every day, right? That kind of man has to be in tune with not only his masculine aura, but also the feminine aura as well. there's times when a woman has to make a decision that a man can't make. And there's a role that we all have to play, right? But you kind of got to know when to be a leader and when to be a follower, when to listen and when to talk. And the thing is that military, for example, you know, if you're not G.I. Joe, you're not valuable, right? If you don't fit in with that box, you know, if you're outside the box guy, what they'll do is they'll put you in situations that will make you uncomfortable. And then, you know, you have no choice but to quit or to leave or to be the outcast, right? But then when you kind of get deeper in the game, you kind of understand that, okay, maybe it's worthwhile if I understand how a woman thinks. Maybe it's worthwhile to understand how to communicate effectively. And I mean, this is a never-ending game. I mean, I'm gonna live the rest of my life trying to improve myself on communication, because not only when it regards to my business, but it's regards to my personal relationships. Okay, what could I have said in a better way? You know, maybe I could have said that to where you know, they could have received it, you know, well enough, instead of just me spurting out the first thing in my mind, right? And so you develop that filter, you develop that emotional, I guess you call it just an emotional parachute, you know, because if you're just angry or happy, you know, and those are your only two emotions that you
right, it's 0 or 1. That's it.
0 or 1. You ain't gonna get nowhere. You know, you gotta know about the nuances of the game. And if you're not aware of those nuances, then you'll never be successful in life, business, relationships.
So let me circle back. Let me circle back to Susie, because Susie ain't quiet this long for no reason. Susie always got insightful questions. That's why I love Susie on the show.
You know how I get about emotions. I talked about that in every topic. I bring up emotions, and it's always a man who shuts down emotions and acts as if there's no place for emotions in a lot of situations. And that really rubs me the wrong way. That's why I always tell you, Dave, whenever we speak, I say you're so emotionally intelligent. And that's not a romantic thing. You're just an emotionally intelligent person. And Destiny's a lucky person that you get to use it romantically with her. And whoever your friends are lucky because we get to get it from you as well in a respectful manner. Like, that's so undervalued, the emotion. That's why I said I don't want any gifts. I don't want any this. I don't want any that. You have to know how to love me. And in order to love me the right way, it has to be emotionally. Because when everything else is gone, if you get in an accident, you lose your money, you lose everything else. Those emotions is the glue that's going to hold us together. That's what's going to keep us strong. And I don't know about all this coming into a relationship wanting to lead me. I'm like, no, I want you to love me. And it doesn't make me. Okay, so Snoop is not a leader, right? He's a representative. He's used as a representative of the Black community, not a leader. That's why Trump chose certain people to play with, like Kanye was one, because he was used as a representative, not a leader. There's no one following these people. So the social media aspect is ruining people, and they need to differentiate between words. Just because you hear a word a lot doesn't mean that's the right word to use. Like, these women are just representatives of what they want Black women to portray. That's not all Black women. The women that are quality women or think a certain way aren't really on social media. You know, they're attorneys like Ashley, or, you know, doing whatever. So as far as a leader, no, I want all of those characteristics that Dolomite and Steve, you guys talked about, that confidence and assertiveness. And remember I said manly man at the beginning? Did you not hear him say that? I like those things. It doesn't make me submit. It makes me soften to him. I soften. I become more feminine for that man. And then Steve made a good point. Dave, cut it out.
Sorry. Listen.
Steve made a good point. He said,
you soften. As a married man, when you said soften, guess what word jumped in my mind? Y'all not gonna guess. Well, guess what word jumped when she said it softens me? What came to my mind as a newlywed?
Soften?
It starts with a C.
Now I just went completely filthy. I don't know.
No, I can't get off the gutter.
Cervix.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
really?
cervix, because when a woman ovulates, the cervix softens.
Oh my God, I would have never guessed that.
When a woman gets pregnant, the cervix plugs up and it hardens and it keeps the baby in there. And then when she starts dilating, they talking about the cervix opening up and softening. I thought I said, wow, if you're a strong man with good character and you treat a woman right, she'll soften. And I got the image of a cervix.
That's beautiful, though. That actually goes together. That's beautiful.
But
yeah,
Ashley, you went to the gutter, Ashley.
I went straight to the gutter and I couldn't get out.
I was in the basement of the gutter. I was in the basement of her gutter because I was like,
right.
No.
But yeah, and it doesn't. It's men that tell men to be
hard.
like not. Yeah, and women really appreciate the other stuff.
But you know what though? I'm glad we're having this discussion. We're talking about, are you ready for a leading man? Steve will come back in a moment, y'all. Are you ready for a leading man? Look, y'all, the issue I have is it's not just men saying, hey, dog, you got to be strong, you got to be stoic. It's women too.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say a couple things that going back a little while ago before I forget. Steve said that, you know, men and you are continuing to work on your emotional intelligence and communication. It's the same thing with women. I mean, even though we maybe traditionally are the more softer one, work on that. It's, you know, a lifelong thing. And then Susie, you had mentioned that emotional intelligence is not necessarily a romantic thing. I totally agree with that. One of the most emotionally intelligent people I witnessed was my boss. I mean, he taught me emotional intelligence in the workplace, how to be a good leader. It's in another sense, not in a relationship, but how to be.
And he was an attorney?
He was.
Attorneys are kind of like thought of as like the Terminator. They don't really deal with the emotions. They just deal with the facts.
Exactly. But I saw him be the best attorney I have seen, make decisions and be hard when he needed to be hard. But I saw him also, you know, get our backs, know how to speak to us about tough issues, consider us. So I totally agree. It's not just a romantic thing. And then I want to say, to your point, Dave, you know, women, I think we also play a part in how men feel like, you know, they can't show emotions. But I will say, like, I am someone who I dated a string of men that were really not in touch with their emotions, not emotionally available, probably almost exclusively, until I didn't. I met a man who was the opposite. He had some emotional intelligence. He was in touch with his emotions, communicated and expressed himself, all these things. And I'll be honest, when I first started dating him, I was a little taken aback. Because it was not something I was used to, you know. I grew into really loving it and valuing it because I always knew emotional intelligence was important. But that initial reaction, there was some level of, this is new, you know. So I think it's kind of a cycle, to be honest, that just repeats itself. But I do have to run.
Oh, you got to go, Ash. Dang. Okay. Well, you know what? We are, because you did tell me a certain amount of time and we're over. Okay, so before you go, give us your we talked about, are you ready for a leading man? I really think we could continue this conversation. So Ashley, I'm going to ask you personally, are you ready for a leading man? I don't know, mind y'all, I know Ashley, but I haven't talked to Ashley in about 2-3 years, like, you know, on a regular, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even a little bit longer. But I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but are you ready for a leading man? And what I mean by that is, you're a strong woman. You're an attorney. You have a job that requires you to be within the facts and get stuff done. You know, you making it happen. Do you feel that you being, quote unquote, a successful woman or a career woman or a boss chick, does that make a challenge of being ready for a man that may come off like Uncle Dolomite and lead? Does it make a challenge, like you just said, if you were dealing with men that were really stoic and you had a string of men, then you have a man like Steve or myself, and we're emotionally intelligent. Is it hard to navigate when you're used to a certain thing? So can you answer from a successful independent woman and from a woman that dealt with, stoic men? Was it hard to make the shift to find a man that may lead differently than what you're used to?
It was hard. But I don't even know if I would say it was hard. It was just a shock to me. And it was, kind of trying to orient myself and understand, like, you know, is this normal? Is this going to continue? Is this, and just, so I kind of felt like it was just a learning experience for me. But it's not that I didn't like it or didn't welcome it, because like I said, I knew that emotional intelligence was important, and I knew that that aspect was missing from previous relationships, and it's probably the reason why they ended, to be honest. And so now I'm pretty clear that I'm not going to go back and date someone who is not emotionally available. If you're in therapy, working on yourself, all those things, like, that's great. I understand it. And maybe there's some room for that. But, someone who's just, not into it, super macho, is not going to be my cup of tea anymore. But as far as me as like a businesswoman and, a lawyer and, am I open to a leading man? Absolutely. Because, I work hard. I grind. Let's be honest, me, I argue for a living. Like, totally.
Right.
Totally not sexy, right? So I deeply want in my relationship and my partnership, I want to be, we had this whole soft girl era trend, whatever. Okay, whatever. But I want that. I want to be soft and be able to have emotions and be vulnerable with a man, when I come home. I don't want it to be more like in the courtroom or in the boardroom.
Right.
Still,
I want to say something to that before you bounce. I want to say something to that. So my wife's a lawyer. I'm an engineer by schooling, and an analyst by trade. We both can be very, very. We're going to get to the points, and we're going to deal with what was said. And if you say something off, we're gonna no. Hold on. Let's go back and review the tape. We could do that all day, right? But what I love about my wife is, Destiny doesn't have a heart to argue. She's not here to be combative. My ex-wife, in my personal opinion, me and her were not aligned. And I feel like she was here to prove points and argue. And I found myself, Ashley, justifying my manhood. Like, yo, okay, so I'm a believer. I believe like, yeah, happy wife, happy life. Yes, dear. I did all the standard things that they tell us at the church to do. But I got criticized, like, oh, you ain't got no plan. You ain't got no vision. And I'm like, well, pause. You never asked me. Let's start there. When did you ever ask me about my vision? Second of all, I'm really laid back. So I don't come in like I'm King Kong. I'm gonna beat my chest and I'm the man. I don't come in like that. I come in chill. And what I had to learn as an older man is you do have to lead. You do have to have a vision. You do have to have a plan, and you do have to, even if it's just the daily keepings up of the house and the budget, you have to lead and get out in front. Coming out of college, I was kicking back. I was just trying to figure it out. I didn't know, y'all. It took me life to figure out how to do what I'm doing now naturally. And maybe that's the maturation piece that some of these younger people don't have, Ashley. Maybe like we were talking about the dating and all that stuff in today's world. Maybe they got to go through something to get there and all of that. But I think that there's a piece that's missing. And for someone like yourself, Ashley, someone like Destiny, my wife, even somebody like me that's an analyst, Steve, you're an analyst, now, Susie, you definitely wear your emotions on your sleeve. Like, it might not be no problem for you to communicate your emotions. I think we got to learn. Those of us that have other stuff that take our attention, we got to learn how. Here's the trick. We got to learn before it get too late. You don't want to, Steve, you don't want to be 50 trying to get married.
No, I don't.
Like Steve is a lot younger than me. Steve a lot younger than me. You don't want to be stubborn. And I'm not saying that's you, but what I'm saying is Steve, Ashley, even Susie, y'all younger people younger than me, you don't want to just, I'm stuck on this and then I don't open up until I'm 45, and now I'm open. Like Vivica Fox want to settle down at 60.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing.
Vivica, you should have did that 30 years ago.
She should have done it like a long time, yesterday, man. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, we as Black people within America, you know, we have to unlearn decades of programming that we've been through, right? And like you said, it takes a certain period of suffering, of being able to like go out on your own, and you got to just get sick and tired of being sick and tired, man. Like
Yep.
after a while, it's just like, okay, like what else can I do to help improve my position, right? And I'll give you a quick story. So I had a lot of family issues.
Hold on, Ashley. Hold on. I'm sorry, Ashley got to go. So I'm gonna say this, Ashley. Before you go, this is what I wanted to leave you with. I think as single people, we gotta prepare for marriage. So I know, and I'm using your profession as an example. Ashley's a lawyer. She works hard. She argues for a living, right? She gets paid good money to do it. If her Boaz showed up today, if her unicorn, her Denzel Washington, her whoever pick the fine man that she like, he show up today, and he don't like a woman that's, you know, giving a lot of extra back talk and all this stuff. You might think it's a little bit old fashioned, but maybe the man is just like set in his ways. Would Ashley fumble that man, or would a career woman fumble a man if the perfect man showed up, but he required her to shift and she wasn't able to make the shift? Would me as an older man, would I fumble my destiny, who's asleep in the bedroom or might be watching the show? Would I fumble her if I can't shift when she shows up? I can't be Dave, Ashley. I can't be the Dave you met 10 years ago at the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, Dave, I can't be party Dave and I claim I want to be a husband. It's incompatible. I had to make some adjustments. So the question that I have, and we're gonna let Ashley leave, is when we talk about a leading man, is a woman ready for a man that's exactly what she wants? What if he shows up and she not ready? The challenge is you got to get ready while he ain't there.
Yes, I agree. And I hope I am ready. Steve, I'm sorry for interrupting you. And I want to say, you mentioned the man that is like the perfect man. It's like Aaron Pierre, obviously, for me. But
That's I was thinking that.
Hold on. Well, I'm not being funny. I don't know him, so I'm just gonna ask. Do he like women? I don't know him.
Yeah, I had to do a little. I had to check too. Yeah, he does.
He does. Good. All right, guys. Good night.
Then. Be good at it. Appreciate you, Ashley. Thank you for joining the After Dark podcast. Hey, Steve. No offense, but you know, Aaron Pierre is one of them light-skinned dudes with light eyes.
Similar to you,
nowadays. He under attack. They question. They're like, hold on, he a little too smooth.
You gotta have a dark interior, man. You gotta be dark skin on the inside.
On the
inside, man. You gotta be. That's the only way you're gonna get right in this world, or else they're gonna call you like the next.
Right. Hey, light-skinned people have been getting it hard, but you know what? Y'all had y'all day. Y'all had y'all Albie Shores, y'all Christopher Williams. I know that's a little before your time, but y'all had back in the day. It was hard for the Chocolate Brother. We had Bobby Brown and Casey and JoJo, and then eventually we got Wesley Snipes and Big Daddy Kane, and you can add Denzel to the Brown Skin Coalition. You know, we eventually got there, but it was the light skinned cats for a long time.
I'm ready for it, man. When we come back, I'll be ready.
Aaron Pierre bringing y'all back, dog. Aaron Pierre bringing y'all back, straight up.
Let's hope so.
Okay, so look, we lost Uncle Dolly. We lost Ashley. It's three of us. I'm not gonna keep y'all on for too much longer, but I do want to make sure. And Susie Q, this is your time to shine because you always ask great questions.
Can I answer the question you asked?
Please, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, you said I forgot how you said it, but
will you be ready if your unicorn shows up? When your leading man, when your Boaz, when your Denzel, when your Aaron Pierre, when your Michael B. Jordan, when your whomever shows up,
David Banner.
Are you ready for him? David Banner, are you ready for him?
If he's a leader, if am I ready for my leader? I am not. I am not ready for a leader. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend. I'm ready for a very manly, masculine partner who is okay being my best friend and the head decision maker in the areas that he is qualified in making the decisions in. That's what I'm ready for. I'm not ready for just a leader. No, I don't want to be led. I want a partner that knows what he's good at and knows what he's not good at.
Hold on, Susie Q. I don't know why I like calling you Susie Q. Probably because of them little chocolate, the little chocolate
You
and
look like a
thing.
Susie pie.
Yeah, the Susie
They
Q.
call me Susie Q and Susie Pie. It's okay. Come on, Dave. I know you go. Let's go.
Susie Q. I got to challenge you on this one.
Okay.
You can't be like, I'm not ready for him. My unicorn. Let's just say unicorn. I'm not ready for my unicorn, but I'm ready for a good man that does this, this, and this, and this. Well, that's your damn unicorn.
But you said leader. That was the question. That's why I want to make sure I always stay. I'm a nerd. So when you said this is the question, that's the question I'm going to answer. The word was leader. I'm definitely ready for my unicorn.
I love
I'm
Susie Q.
definitely ready.
So Susie,
Definitely.
so
Yes, sir.
Susie, this is the thing. You have to get ready for your leader before he gets here.
Gotta prepare.
I'm going to use the example of a single man, and I'll use myself. If I get divorced at 35 and I come to Los Angeles at 35 and I'm hurting and I go party and I hang out and I'm on the scene, I'm acting Steve, you know, I'm contracting in the government, day life, making money. And nighttime, I'm acting and I'm trying to make beats and I'm hurting. I'm doing everything, but trying to sit my ass down, get closer to God and find a wife. I'm hurting. So I'm out here partying and do all that stuff. You know, you do that for 9 years, you do that for 10 years. You're like, yo, I've been out here 10 years. I ain't 35. I'm 45. When did this happen? See, Steve is younger than 40, right? You're still younger than 40, right, Steve?
Yeah, 35.
All right, look at that. Now, that's look at him. The very age he is, that's when I came to LA. Right? I had already lived the whole life of husband, churchgoer, choir, security, video ministry, all that stuff. Came out here hurting, partying, all this stuff, right? And wasn't ready. So when people showed up that could potentially be a wife, I wasn't ready. The requirements they had, like, you know, I wasn't ready. So Susie, I had to stop just partying, talking about I want a wife, but I'm at every party. Talking about I want a wife, but I'm out with every chick. It don't work. So now I settle down at 47 and say, man, I'm gonna slow everything down. Steve, you remember you were still in LA? I was like, I'm gonna slow everything down. That was around that time. That was the time period, the transition.
Yeah, and that was the big thing about Dave is that, you know, I was hanging out with Dave, man. We was going to a melody bar, just doing everything, bro. And like the thing was that when I started seeing his actions match his words, that's when I had to kind of step back. And I'm like thinking like, oh man, like, you know, maybe this is possible for myself. Because, you know, if Dave was able to transform, then, you know, like maybe it is possible for me, right? And so, you know, the conversation that Dave talks about, you don't want to be 50, you know, that really hit me hard personally, because then I'm starting to think to myself, like, God damn, like, do I really want to be out in the scene like that and like be the old 56-year-old man that's just, you know, like you got nothing else to live for but the next weekend, right? And so that was the thing that kind of gave me like it was a small shift, because I'm still younger, but I'm like, now I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe I want to start thinking about what it takes and, you know, start like thinking about preparation, right? And that was the big thing, is that, okay, if Dave can do it, maybe, and that gave me hope. Maybe I can, maybe Susie, there's a life out there that, you know.
And Susie Guy connected me with people, right? Steve was a lot younger than me, but we were coworkers. So we had a lot in common from our coworker standpoint, right? Then Steve was an actual minister. I said, hey, yo, Steve, I used to want to be an evangelist. I never did it. I never took up the call, but I could have, because I was a student leader in ministry. And, you know, I was in evangelism ministry at my church. And I choir and so I'm like, bro, you took that part of life farther than I did, right? Now we both college educated, we both military, or at least worked in the military. And I was like, yo, Steve, man, like I used to tell him, I'm like, yo, Steve, make sure you keep your connection, man. Make sure you stay connected, because don't get disconnected, because sometimes it's hard to find your way back. And I was like, bruh, like I hear you, you're a young man. I understand. LA single young man making good money. But I'm like, if you really want a wife, take your time. Because dude, it's a party every night. It don't end. It's never gonna stop.
Never.
It's never gonna stop. Los Angeles is like Hollywood. It's never gonna stop. You can find a party every night. I could leave right now and find a party. But it gets old, Susie. And I used to tell Steve, like, bro, I know we out here, we at the bar and we trying to find young ladies and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I really want my wife. And he's like, yeah, me too, man, to be honest. And then he would tell me about his relationships. I'll tell him about mine. And then when God did it, I took a break. Like I was away from the scene. I was just by myself. Probably when I started doing more of my shows 2 or 3 days a week, probably around the time you saw me on Instagram, Susie, just building it up. I wasn't out no more. I was always in front of this computer. Got off the dating apps, stopped dating women casually, and started really saying, I'm not going to even date a woman if she's not wife material. When I made the decision to say, I'm only going to date women that's wife material, and I cut off all my situationships, that's when wife material women start showing up. Now I had to go through the process of vetting, and I went through a couple different times when it wasn't working out, and I got hurt. Now Steve then moved away. Called my boy up. I'm like, man, dog, I thought this was it. For real, Dave? Oh, man, you be all right, man, but you're doing so much. Yo, I see you. I see the progress. Keep going. I'm like, yeah, but this hurt. Like, thought this was it, and it wasn't it. So when I finally meet Destiny, and I say my Destiny all the time because that's who she is. When I finally meet my Destiny, I call Steve. Susie's watching the show, and I check in with Susie. I'm like, Susie, I think I found her. She's like, really, Dave? Like, I'm so enamored. Like, tell me about it. And you remember them late nights? Call Susie, talk to Susie. You know what I'm saying?
I love some love. I love love.
Talking about black love, and then look, I'm circling all the way around. Steve comes to the wedding, and when the reason Steve comes to the wedding, y'all, is because Steve was there from the beginning. You hear me? You know, Sherrod was more prior than Steve, but Steve was right behind Sherrod in terms of seeing David's single life and what's going to happen and my search for a wife. He was there. We were at the club together. We were at work together and left work, had dinner, and went to the club. We went from work and went to church and saw him go preach.
Okay, minister.
We did the whole thing. So when I called Steve, I'm like, yo, Steve, I found her. He was like, for real? Man, I'm proud of you, man. I said, bro, you think you could make it? Dave, I wouldn't miss it. And he made it. You know what I'm saying? And he made it. And yo, man, it was surreal getting married because I saw my single friends, you know, yourself and others, right? I saw my single friends and I just said, I really want them to find what God has for them because I know exactly where they at. I know, and see, mind you, I got other friends that's married. And, you know, they moved on before I did and found their wife. And I just had to salute them. They showed up. And I had some of my single friends, you know, tell me, I want what you have. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. And I'm not going to lie. I want that. I want that for me. And I told some of my single friends, I said, hey, man, God could do it for you. I trusted God. So this is all circling around a leading man, right? A leading man is not transactional, in my personal opinion. Okay? Transactional is selfish. We've all been there and done that. Every man watching this podcast has been like, should I buy her this lobster dinner? I don't know if I'm going to get none.
Who tell you guys that? Yes, I feel like sometimes men need to check themselves because maybe, okay, So what kind of bait are you fishing with? Just know what bait you put out, you're going to catch that kind of fish. If you're out there fishing with lobster, you're going to catch a gold digger. If you can't catch this woman with a picnic or a Starbucks date so you can actually talk and get to know each other without, them knowing how much you make, then you deserve that gold digger, because what the hell? Can she buy herself? Is that what she always eats? Does she always eat lobster?
You know
Why are
what?
you
Hold
buying
up,
the
Susie.
lobster?
I gotta jump in. Guess what?
Mhm.
We did a show early on back in Instagram. It was called Pimping, Tricking, Simping, and Courting. Pimping,
I think I was
tricking,
present.
simping, and courting. Okay. You know what the difference is between pimping and tricking? Pimping is when she pay you. Tricking is when
Okay.
you pay her. When you pay her, it's still transactional.
Mm.
See,
Put
I
in
don't
whatever
even
put in whatever context you want.
right.
Pimping, for instance, if you holler at a chick and you get her to take you to the first dinner and buy dinner,
Oh
somebody
my
be like,
God.
you just hear me out. Some people are like, oh, you a pimp, dog. Okay. But tricking, you spending money, you trying to impress. Or it's an agreement. Hey, you buy this dinner, I'll go with you to the club, see what happens next after that. Do something before do something. All right. That's tricking. Simping is when you chasing her, but she don't want you. You chasing her. It's the same thing as tricking, but there's no agreement. Simping is I'm just chasing you. Please, Susie, give me your number. Please, Susie. Please, Susie. Please, Susie. And you're just like, oh, whatever, Dave, whatever, Dave, whatever, Dave. And you taking all the money and all the favors I'm giving you. That's simping. Courting and simping is the same action with a willing participant. When you simp, you chasing a chick that don't want you. When you court, you're chasing or pursuing a woman that does want you, and she pursues you back. See,
Or a woman who's
it's a thin line.
unsure. Or a
That ain't
woman who's unsure.
that ain't courting. That ain't courting.
Why
Yeah.
not? Because she's not sure yet. How
That's not
she's
courting.
still getting to know you. That's the whole point of the
That's not courting.
courtship.
Not
Once
courting.
she wants you, she's your girlfriend or
That's
your
not
wife.
courting. That's not courting.
Oh my goodness.
If she has not expressed interest, if she has not expressed interest, you ain't in the courting phase yet. Courting
Interest,
is
and I said she's not sure. She might be interested, but she's not sure. That's different.
if she's unsure, you're not courting her.
That's the talking
You're
phase.
you're just dating. You're
Yeah.
just talking. And,
Talk.
and if you're not careful, if you do too much, you could be guilty of simping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's courting then? Is courting a relationship? Because I thought
No,
courting was pursuing.
No. Courting is mutual pursuit.
Yeah, they want me, I want them.
And it's mutual. So courting says there's no risk that she may leave me or break up with me because we both know we want each other. We both know we see each other as marriage material. And so now we're building. Courting is actually building, y'all. Courting is building. If
And that's not a relationship.
it could be a relationship, it could be talking, but it's intent. Courting, the intent is for, okay, check this out. Me and Destiny were courting. I really like you. Well, you know what? I really like you too. Hey, I'm not quite sure if this is it. I think it is. Hold on. I think it is. But my intention, if this is it, is to continue building and going forward and coming together for marriage. We knew that week 3, maybe week 2. We didn't have
You
the
knew that
definition.
you both intended to get married if it is it, because you guys were not sure. You were still getting to know each other.
Let me
But
correct
if
it.
it's what I think it is,
I hear you, but I
I
gotta
want to
correct it.
marry you.
I gotta correct it. I hear you, but I gotta correct it. And I'm nitpicking on purpose.
Okay.
Here's what happened with me and Destiny. David got sick of being single, and David wanted a wife. And David started acting serious about finding a wife. Before I met Destiny, I wanted to find my wife before I met her. I set my intention on finding a wife before I even met her. She set her intention on finding her husband before she met me. She set her intention. She said, the next man I meet, God, that I'll fall for, please let it be my husband. I don't want to even date unless I find my husband. So her on the other side of the country looking for her husband and committed to it. Me on the other side of the country looking for my wife and committed to it. That's the difference. We both were already like, I want a husband. We were done playing games. Then we meet. Now, even though I don't know that you are my wife, I know I want a wife. And even though you don't know that I am your husband, you know you want a husband. That's courting.
Okay.
When I don't know if you're the one and I don't even know if I'm ready yet, I'm unsure, that ain't courting. You're just dating.
Trying to see what happened with it.
And you're in danger of the man of pursuing you and the woman don't want you. You're in danger of being a simp. The woman is in danger of tricking by saying, well, if he ain't providing and paying for this, I ain't even going out with him. That's tricking. And the man that's like, man, this bitch better have the money. She better fucking do for me. I'm the fucking pride. Blah, blah, blah. He in danger of pimping. All those things are in danger, and you're just in the dating phase. You ain't even got to courting.
Marriage is danger. Like, why do we put so much weight on, like, when people put it in these little narrow boxes, that's why people are so afraid to go out on a limb and date people, because this is dangerous, that everything is dangerous. Marrying someone is dangerous. They could divorce you and take all your money, or they could kill you and try to get the will. Like, everything is dangerous. What are you willing to risk in order to get the reward you're seeking? That's how I look at it. I go into like you said, I'm always emotionally on the table. And as soon as a man says to me, like, even dudes be telling females to be tough. If a man says that to me when I'm crying, you will never see me again. Because that is your job. That big, broad shoulder God blessed you with is made for this big coconut God blessed me with to lay on that shoulder. And if you don't know that your job is to give me your shoulder when I'm sad instead of telling me to be tough, I could be tough by myself. That's why I'm established by myself. So when you come into an established woman's life and you're trying to give me money and you're not giving me your shoulder, you could take my ass and kiss it, because you don't know your value to me. You don't know what you're worth outside of providing. You're one to lead something that don't need to be led. I am established.
Hey,
I
Steve,
need to be emotionally secured.
that's an established woman. See, that's that maturity.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that the single mindset can't come in and play with her.
No,
No.
because a lot of women, like they start to think that, they hate the bad word accountability, right? And on the other side, men, we see so many stories out there of guys losing everything, like girls coming in, getting married, and they cashing out like within the next like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So, you got a lot of fear mongering going on there. And, I think the big thing is that, you stand in firm of who you are, right? And now, like what Dave is talking about, you make a decision to go all in, and you start that process of finding those shadows, those blind spots, those dark spots, right? And that's where I'm at right now. That's what I am going into. I'm going into like my shadow work, because at this point, when you decide to go all in and, okay, I need to prepare myself, I need to go through those tough conversations, I need to go through like facing my fears of what I perceive as successful relationships, right? So that's the thing, is that if you're so programmed to thinking, okay, I gotta be this, if you ain't this, don't even talk to me, right? And that's the thing. We all have to go through those points of where, okay, now if I want this, I gotta start getting ready for it. I gotta face those fears. And a lot of single girls out here, they're not willing to go through that journey just yet, right? And they still want to go and, okay, look, I mean, I'm gonna get it for me. I'm gonna get what I need, I'm gonna get what's mine first, right? Instead of really like looking at themselves in the mirror. But like I said, that's one of the scariest things you can do, is to look at yourself in the mirror and say, all right, what's wrong with me, bro? Like, why I can't keep a relationship? And that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
It depends on how you look at it, right? Like, I never had a whole phase, and I never had to, like, I've always been about love since I could remember. Like, since I was a kid, I've always been wanting to be married. I don't smoke. I've never smoked anything. I don't drink. I don't take drugs, not even medication. Like, so I always knew like I wanted to be in love, not just married. I want to be in love. And as a teenager in my early 20s and in college, how my friends used to tell me, girl, come on, we need to go to the club, or you live in a fairy tale life, and you know, you gotta F a few frogs before you could kiss a prince, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, it's gonna sound weird, but this is why my friends used to pick on me. I said, I don't want no beat up coochie when my husband finds me. You know, I want to have my walls, you know. I don't want my breath and my to have bags under my eyes from smoking or gray lips. You know, these are all stereotypes. I don't know if this is what happens. I'm just saying. I didn't know. So I'm saying all these things. I said I want to come off as a good wife. I want to also be established financially so that he could see me for me, that I'm not a liability. Yes, I'm still going to be soft for him, but I don't want him to feel like the burden of having to provide for me, or I can't take care of myself. Not that I won't allow him to provide. I just don't want him to feel like he has to, or else I will cease to exist. So it came a time where I was questioning, should I be this soft? Because people kept telling me I was living a fairy tale life. And it took me some time to be like, should I get tough? And then I doubled down on being soft. And I realized men really want to be able to be vulnerable. So I became really good at making men trust me, making them comfortable so that they can express themselves emotionally. And I've always had that in relationships. And there's no stronger bond than a man being vulnerable enough to cry to you and knowing that there will not be repercussion or embarrassment, or a man telling you his biggest fears of failure or his inadequacies. That's how I know that my love is valuable, when a man is that secure with me, and I would never violate it.
So I want to jump in though. Here is the challenge. And our mutual friend, K-Dub, told me this when I first came to LA. Kev said, because Kev was my barber, he cut my hair. I'm fresh going through a divorce. I'm hurt, Steve. You know, your barber is like your bartender. Your barber's like is like your minister. You go talk to your barber or your hairdresser if you're a lady. So I'm talking to Kevo. Man, these women, man. Kev said, you know what, Dave, I ain't trying to infringe, but you know what I see going on? Everybody ain't your wife, man. He said, everybody don't deserve the treatment that you treated your ex-wife with. And at the time I was still married, going through divorce. So he was like, everybody ain't your wife. You can't treat everybody like you treat. Oh, girl, I ain't gonna say her name. And I said, yeah, but I'm a good dude, Kev, and I love hard. He said, I understand that. He said, some of these women out here, especially in LA, it's transactional, dog. They don't give a damn what kind of good man you are. They don't care about your morals. They not cut from the family cloth or the Christian cloth or the community cloth. They cut from the selfish cloth. And he said, you have to discern better who deserves that. So Susie, Steve, I'm talking to my old self. We got to do better at picking who deserves the courting versus who deserves, let me reserve and just date you and kind of keep it at a distance and not let you get too close. Everybody ain't your husband or your wife. Everybody doesn't deserve to be courted. You can't just give your pearls to swine.
I love that saying.
Yeah.
Hold on. Nina said, are you all saying that you only find love on a coffee date? No, we're not saying you only find love on a coffee date. We're saying that you got to go on a couple coffee dates before you see who's
start
worthy.
buying the lobster.
Yeah, of even getting a steak and a, you know, if so check this out, Susie. I'm dating me and Destiny talking long distance. She was like, first week we talking, we get to the point where we talking on FaceTime hours. She's like, you know, you said you were single and you don't have a girlfriend. I said, I don't have a girlfriend. She said, you also said you weren't necessarily waiting. I said, not necessarily.
Uh-oh.
She said, well, I'm waiting. I need a man that's okay with that. Are you okay with that? And it's like the Lord shined the light on me and was like, Choose wisely, David. Choose wisely. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the moment. You want a horse or you want a wife? What you want?
Wife.
What you want, Dave? What you want? You want to go out there and have a good time and be a damn fool dating, wilding out, or you gonna sit your ass down and find a wife? And I was like, you know what? I want a wife. I don't want to be out here just dating in LA. I want a wife. And so I said, hey, I've been celibate before. I said, I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't when I met you, but I also ain't dealing with nobody. So I'm totally happy waiting. And I said, if you're the one, I'll wait. She's like, you mean that? I said, yeah, I've waited before. So yeah, I can do that again. I said, but I don't want no 5-year wait. I said, I'll be honest. I ain't trying to be waiting 5 years. I said, but if you're the one, I will wait for you. And it was that one moment of David, what do you want? Are you going to sacrifice, or are you going to be transactional and selfish and say, no, I'm Party Dave. I'm DaveLifeTV. Do you know who I am? Like, you going to pull one of them numbers, or are you going to say, you know what? For the right woman, I will wait. I'll do it God's way, and I'll take my time, and I'll trust you, and I will give up the potential to have people and party and all that for my wife. And now look at me, 2 years later, I'm married.
God, dog. See, just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you, And to see something like that from Dave, that's when like, you know what, maybe the hype ain't all worth it, right? And then you start thinking, okay, if I'm getting away from the hype, then maybe there's a way to where I can, put myself around better quality people, better quality women, right?
Mm-hmm.
But see, now, what I'm facing personally is, how do I properly handle that quality woman that I'm looking for on my path, right? So then I have to go back and, go through and fix myself. So then I can be able to say, okay, I am ready for somebody like this. And, there's probably going to be a time I'm going to have to face the same thing too. The woman is going to have to make me wait. And I have to be equipped enough to handle that. When the hoes start calling, I got to be able to be confident enough to say, no, this ain't it no more. Even though it felt good chasing the hoes back in the day, now this is not it. This is not what I want anymore. I don't desire it anymore.
And I'll tell you, don't wait until you 48 to figure that out. Like, you make this. It's just like, Steve, you've done the workout routine 75 hard. You've done it. I have not successfully completed it. You've completed it a couple times. Steve, it's just like working out. When you make a decision, hey, I'm gonna eat right and I'm gonna do my sets and I'm gonna work out, you just make that decision, bro. The same way with dating. So Susie, when it comes to is a woman ready for a leading man? I think that a woman has to prepare, because if you're not used to cooperating, if you're not used to communicating, I'm not talking about Susie. I'm talking about a boss chick or a woman that's out there being independent, doing her thing.
I'm a boss chick. What are you talking about?
I'm
a boss chick. I'm in a masculine career field. It's if you say cooperate, that don't go with leadership. You have to follow. Cooperation goes with partnership, and I can cooperate.
Okay. Watch out.
You can spit a fucking bar. Shit. Okay.
Watch out, bro.
She didn't spit a bar. Damn.
Watch out.
I wasn't ready for that one. Cooperate.
Follow orders. That's what you do to a leader.
Okay. Well, I want to say this. Hold on. Oh Lord, look at Delilah. I ain't gonna put what she talking about. Delilah crazy. Well, shout out to Corsi the comedian. Corsi the comedian is in the building. Shout out to Corsi the comedian. Corsi, Delilah loves showing up when I got 2 minutes left and want to pop up on the live. I'm like, we didn't did 2 hours, Delilah.
Can I ask Steve one question before you close out?
Hold on, but I want to say something.
Go ahead.
What you said. I feel that women that want a husband have to be prepared to be a wife. And I said this on one of my other broadcasts. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Not he that findeth a girlfriend. Not he that findeth a fuck buddy. Not he that findeth a situationship. Not he that findeth a hangout buddy. Not he that findeth a a business partner. No, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. That means you have to be moving and behaving and thinking as a wife before he meets you. Now, here's the key. My own personal life. I meet Destiny, wonderful woman, walk with God, humble, accomplished, intelligent, all that. And I said to her after our first date, I said, you know what? I might have to mess around and make you a wife. She said, no, correction. You might have to make me your wife. I was a wife when you met me.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Floored
glad
me.
she told me that. 'Cause,
Steve,
So she said that to you?
floored me, Steve.
What?
She said that as she flipped all that long ass hair right in my face the way I love it.
I
She was
know
combing
that's
her hair and
right.
was like, I said, Jesus, girl. Don't wave the hair in my face and you spitting the word to me. Oh my God. You know what I mean? I'm like, and I can't touch you? Jesus. This ain't fair.
Mhm.
This ain't fair. But she was like, no, you might have to make me your wife. I was a wife when I met you. And I went home and thought about that. And I said, she has all the characteristics of a wife. If you remember the story of Isaac and Rebekah, Isaac wanted a wife, and Abraham's servant was like, I'm going to pray and I'm going to try to find a wife for Isaac. It says that he wanted to find a woman that would not only not only give him water to drink, but give water to his sheep as well. And so when the servant went to go find Isaac a wife and he ran across the well, Rebecca came up all beautiful and everything. He sat there and he said, hey, I'm really tired. It's been a long journey. Would you mind drawing me water? She said, not only will I draw you water, master, I'm going to draw your sheep some water too. She offered. She had a servant mind. And he said, dang, she already operating like the kind of woman that Isaac needs. This must be who God sent me. So the point that I'm making is, Steve, I had to start acting like a husband before I found Destiny.
Yeah.
Destiny was already moving like a wife before I showed up. So she was already being so Susie, can the boss woman, can the independent woman, can the strong woman, can a woman that's been hurt say, I'm gonna move and be like a wife, and I'm going to have a wife mindset. Hear me out. And not give it to the wrong guy, like Kev said. Kev said, everybody ain't my wife. Everybody ain't her husband. So she can't give it. She got to have the capability, but not give it to everybody. That is the trick.
That's a good question. That's good, Dave. That's good. And I'm glad you brought it back to that, because you said some people you should just date, right? And whatever. I don't agree with that. I'm gonna always be my loving self. You know how tiring it is to hold back how loving I am? Like, if I can't be loving, if I can't be vulnerable, if I can't be myself around you, I don't want to deal with you at all. I'm not going to just date you. I don't care how good you look. I don't care about any of that. Like, I don't care how much money you have. If it's not safe for me to be myself with you, you have no place in my life as a romantic partner or as a friend. So no, like, I'm going to always be loving, and my husband will cleave to that, because I don't want to give him a representative. Whoever my husband is, he's going to meet who I am the first day he meets me. And I'm ready for it. And I realize my superpower, and men have to know their superpower too. Like, I don't know what men are afraid of when it comes to being vulnerable, but if you're independent, you know how women say that?
Yeah.
Listen, if you're a man and you're independent, don't let anyone talk you out of knowing that that's a superpower. All a woman can do is say some crap. Whatever she says is nothing. Go back to your house, get in your car, and be like, oh, this B tried me tonight. It might hurt, whatever, but you don't need nobody for nothing. Now she's out of your way, and you can have space to meet who's supposed to be for you. And that's my superpower. If someone hurts me, I will literally look a man in his eye and start crying. And I'll say, you really hurt me. I'm never going to talk to you again. And I'll cry like a little punk, and I don't care. And I'm going to go home to my house and cry and deal with the pain and prepare myself for the next whoever it's going to be. So, I'm ready for my husband. He better be ready to be emotionally available for
You better
me.
come quick. You better come ready.
Susie ready. Listen, Susie ready. Susie's gonna be like Rebecca. She's gonna be like, my Lord, please show me Isaac.
You better believe it.
I've been waiting on him.
You better
She gonna be
believe
ready
it.
to go. Hold on, look, listen, man. We gonna rock out because we're at the 2-hour limit. Look at this. Delilah said, I can't come up. She said, I can't come up. I said she always try to join the show late. Guess why she said she can't come up?
What she got going on? You know how she is.
She said, I'm naked.
I knew it. I knew it.
I can't.
I knew it. Oh,
Delilah
I
was
didn't ask
crazy.
you the question. I
What's
know
the
you're about to close.
Yeah.
Because you always answer this for us, Dave. You said, Steve, you're working on yourself, right? You're
Yeah,
fixing yourself. What is it that you feel, without, getting too personal? What is it that you feel you have to fix before you can, be the type of man to attract that wife you're trying to get?
Okay, so I'm gonna give a real short story here. So I was talking with one of my friends. He's a Marine veteran. He's a Trump voter, but me and him were critical thinkers. So we think outside the box, and we have very good kind of conversation like I do with Dave. And so I told my friend Jesse Pinedo one time, I want to find out why I'm Christian, not just because my parents told me. I want to figure out why I want to be a Christian, right? And from that moment, that's when COVID hit. I moved back to Texas. My two of my uncles passed away, and my father passed away, right? And so that period, that question, I will remember the rest of my life. That's when I started going into that phase where I'm figuring out who I really am as a man. Because when I was in the military, I felt like a man, right? But now I had to figure out why I was the man I was, right? And I'll never forget, one time I was sitting in my house and it was Christmas. And I was at Christmas by myself. And I had to tell myself, like, this is another decision point I had to make. What am I doing wrong that I had to spend Christmas by myself? Like, what is going on with me where I had to isolate myself from my family and my friends just to reset and recharge to go out into the world? Like, there's something wrong there, right? And so now, as far as communication with women, now I have to be willing to have those tough conversations. When a woman, like I said, you find a man's vulnerabilities, and so men are so worried about like having their vulnerabilities thrown back at them. So that's one of my things I'm working through, is that how can I be vulnerable enough to a woman and still be able to accept that responsibility that she may or may not throw it back at me later on down the road.
I'm gonna tell you how. Stand on your square. Be who you are in God. Be who you are in Christ. Be who you are in the world. Like be Steve Hartfield. I didn't put your whole government out there. Be Steve, right? Steve, the right woman will see who you are and appreciate it. I'll give you an example. I was always trying to be an actor, a songwriter, a producer. I feel like ex-wife was intimidated and was like, well, you need to keep your home first, and you need to make sure. It was always something to slow me down. Even when I did a performance, I was acting and I did a great job. It was like, it was good, David. It's good. That's all I got. Everybody else, stand ovation. All right. That's one thing. Then you meet people, you date them. Are you really an actor? Are you really a songwriter? Are you doing anything? They don't believe. They need to see it to believe it. One person discouraging you, they don't want you to do it because they scared you're going to leave them. The other person criticize you. Hey, are you really doing it? Who you think you are? You ain't doing that. That's small. Then you get the third person that says, oh, I love to watch you make music. I love to see you make beats. They don't help you. Maybe they're not inclined, but they're supportive, but they're a fan. Then you got my wife. Babe, you got to tell your lifers if you're not going to be on tonight. You can't just disappear. You got to put something out, put a statement out.
She's so good for that. She's so good for that.
Let me keep going. babe, I saw this influencer online and I emailed her and said, you know, my husband has a show. You might want to check it out because I think it would be great if y'all collaborated if you're interested. Hey girl, I'm married. I'm not, this is nothing crazy, but my husband does this. Keep going. I'm like, babe, I got to do my show 2 or 3 times a week. It's important. I got to record. She's like, okay, baby. All right, no problem. Not, did you wash the dishes? Did you fold your clothes? No. Okay, baby, no problem. Okay, so we doing the show tonight. All right. So what time you gonna be done? I'll be done at 9:30. Okay, baby, 9:30. We'll have our time. Or what? You know what I'm saying? I promise you, I have never gotten pushback to pursue my passion from Destiny at all. And I was in a whole marriage.
She's your wife.
That's why man, you about to make me. Boy,
that's why she's your wife.
I'm about to yell because you don't understand being in a marriage, Susie, a marriage, which is pulling you down. You trying your best to figure. Steve, 35, he figuring out who he is, right? Yeah. And I met Steve when he was probably 25, right? Yeah. He figured out who he is, right? Bruh, it's so important at that stage in his life to have a woman that believes and supports. And if you don't believe and support, just get out the way. Just don't become a hindrance.
Yes, I agree with that.
But now I'm gonna show you a more excellent way, like Paul said. I'm gonna say to Susie and to Steve and to Ashley and to anybody else that's single, you can find the spouse that backs you and supports you and is the wind beneath your wings, not just I'm gonna stand on the side and not bother you. That ain't good enough. It's 2025. It's 2025. The devil out here acting a damn fool, and we just supposed to just, allow it. And yet the people of God are suffering and can't pursue their dreams and can't become who they are because we scared. Nah, it's time out for that. It's time out for getting with the wrong person. It's time out for people that don't understand the vision. Hello. Yeah. You understand the vision? God bless you. You wasn't meant to come into 2025 with DaveLifeTV.
That's right.
See, he talked like a man that's married. But let me tell you something. You see that power and that confidence and that, well, he's always had the confidence, but it's this power, this newness in him, that you can tell he's being affirmed behind the scenes. Like, I love when he talks like that. He gets very, I don't know. You could tell a married man. When I'm at work, some of the guys, they start saying certain things. I'm like, you're so married. You're such a husband. Like, it's certain traits that only come from happily married men, not just a married man. No doubt. But let me tell you this, Steve, as far as the fear of, I forgot what you said, but it's the fear of someone throwing it back in your face. This is what you do. Remember you said when you were in the military, you knew who you were?
Yes.
And then, okay, so it's just the way you see yourself. It's not that you have to, you need to write down these things about yourself that you're very sure about that are great characteristics. These are your superpowers. I know exactly what I'm great at. I know what's good about me. I know what's beautiful. I know what's, the attractiveness in me, the things I love as well. These are my superpowers. So if I'm vulnerable to someone and I know that I'm so good in all these areas and that person throws something in my face, I'm like, woo, thank you. Because you're a piece of trash. I'm not going to say that. But thank you for not dragging me so long that I can get you out of the way. Once you know how amazing you are, Steve, you have to know. I've only been talking to you for 2 hours, and I could tell you are a quality man that deserves a quality woman, and you have quality friends like Dave. How dare you allow a woman to make you feel fearful of showing the gift that is your vulnerability? She just missed out on a husband. She missed out. And you got to be grateful that you're not going to be 50 looking for a wife because she just played herself and she speed the process along for you to find your wife because you are amazing. No woman that you want to be with as a wife should ever make you feel bad for being vulnerable because she's supposed to be the person you're vulnerable to.
Okay. All right. Yay.
Let's get it, Steve. Let's get you a wife. Dave needs a wedding to go to.
Oh, no. I'm about to go to Rio, bro. I'm about to go to Rio next month, bro. I gotta go to Rio, bro.
All right. Hey, Steve, go to Rio. Go ahead. You booked it. You booked it. Go to Rio, but don't partake.
Steve, you're good. Don't let these women talk you out of your greatness, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Steve, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Steve. Before I met Destiny, actually, right after I met Destiny, and she knows the story. Right after I met Destiny, somebody came on the show. I'm doing an Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, y'all, I think I met somebody. I'm really happy. Somebody I used to date. Comes on the show with a burner account, so I don't know it's her. So I'm talking about life and whatever. The topic tonight is leading man. Are you ready for a leading man? So I'm on the topic. I'm on it. Somebody wants to come up. I'm like, hey, I don't know who this is. Sure. I said, if you're a troll, please don't come up here. I said, I'm gonna trust that you're not. I'm gonna let you up. We're talking about being a leading man. Boop, boop. All I see is, I hear all that. Good guy, you done found your wife, and I said, oh my God. I didn't let this lady up here drunk. Titties up under her chest, up on her neck, and just, all I want to know is, are you still gonna be out here slinging that? Everybody on the panel was like, and I said, sorry about that, y'all. And they were like, did you know that woman? And I said, unfortunately, I know that one. Mind you, Destiny watching in the comments. Destiny, Susie could have been like, I ain't dealing with this man. He got strays. I ain't dealing with this man. All right. So then after I remove her, she comes back, tries to come back on under her regular page, under her government, ignore. Tries to come back on, ignore. Right? And so Destiny was like, if that's what you want, like after the show, she's like, if that's what I said, no, don't even go there. Let me pause you. That is not what I want. I didn't want marriage from that person. We had a situationship. So ain't no disrespect. I'm not going to disrespect the lady. But the truth is, we both knew we were just enjoying ourselves. We both knew that. And now that I found someone who could potentially be the one, she's mad and decides to get on my show and try to throw some shade. Now, granted, it was alcohol fueled. Right? So why? This is 2025. That was 2022. 3 years ago. Why am I married, Susie? That's last weekend. My wife says, hey, babe, Instagram suggests who you should block. I said, how they do that? She said, go to your blocked list. Go to my block list. Okay. Go to my block list. She said, scroll to the bottom. All right. Let's scroll to the bottom. She said, Instagram at the bottom of your block list said people you might want to block. Because they frequent your page without following.
Oh, I just learned something.
Susie, listen to me. Susie, are you hearing the story? Are you hearing the story of the woman that was like, you still gonna be out here? Why was she on my you need to block list?
Oh, first of all I'm hearing is you have an amazingly intellectual wife. Let's start there, okay? That's some good information. Wait a minute. Oh, that's some good information. Thank you, Destiny.
So me and Destiny had a block party last weekend. We had a block party.
Stupid.
We had a block party. We've been married.
Oh, wow.
We've been married 5 months and about 4 days.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
There it is.
On the block.
There it is.
Oh my God.
I got a bunch of blocks too. I'm gonna block some more.
So trolls be on there, pages that don't have a lot of followers, but for some reason on you scammers. But then you might see people that you recognize. You be like, oh shoot, man. Let me block this person. All right.
Oh, that's so cool.
And listen, I'm not, again, this is no disrespect to anyone that I dated in the past. It's the past. I'm not hating. I'm protecting my peace as a married man. I'm protecting my relationship. And let me tell you what else, Susie Q, since you're asking. You're not asking, but I'm taking an opportunity. We talking about the same individual.
Mhm.
Why her friend hit me up a few weeks ago. Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but sometimes I do work in the government, and I heard you did government work. I'm trying to find a job. Can you call me and maybe you could, or text me and point me in the right? I went.
This was after the block party?
No, this is before.
Oh.
So the randomness of reaching out. So I went. I said, I know that name. I said, ain't nothing good gonna come of that. I said, they don't need the job that bad. I'm not the only person with a connection to government jobs. You can go find it on usajobs.gov. I said,
bingo.
Hold on, you listening? usajobs.gov. All right. David ain't the key, ain't the plug. I'm not the key to your. And look, and please hear me, because if they ever see this show, I want them to know ain't no hard feelings. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm using my life as a springboard to talk about topics on my show. And tonight's
how to
topic,
secure your marriage, because
how to
that's
secure your
important.
marriage. It's super important. Tonight's
Yeah.
topic is: are you ready for a leading man? And more importantly, men. We didn't even get to this part. Men, are you ready to lead? That applies to like the single man like Steve.
Yeah.
So granted, hey, is Susie, is Ashley, to other women that are single in various levels of their career and adulthood, are you ready for a leading man? Are you ready for a man? Well, let's flip it on the men. Hey, dog, you ready to be a leading man? Steve, all my other single friends, are you really ready? Are you ready? Because I had to ask myself that question.
Steve's
great.
ready. Let's go, Steve.
that was
Not there yet.
That was rhetorical. I'm not asking. All right, well, now check this out. Hold on. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Delilah did say that. Delilah said that in the comments. I can't post all of Delilah's comments because Delilah, comedian, she's crazy. But life and death is in the power of the tongue. So Steve, you have to begin to speak that you're ready, but you also got to begin to act like you're ready. And here is how acting like you're ready will manifest. When you have the chance to focus on one girl, and you're like, this is the thing, you're gonna be like, damn, I gotta give you another story, Susie, since you asking. I mean, Destiny, we're not dating yet, but we talking. Somebody else is like, Dave, I've been celibate, and I've decided I'm going to end my celibacy journey, and it's gonna be you.
Oh.
I said, excuse me. I have decided that when I bust this thing wide open, it's you, Dave. You won. Congratulations. And I'm like, I didn't even know I was in the sweepstakes. She said, yeah, and that's why you won, because I want to just give it to somebody that ain't even trying and ain't think I'm about to put this off. Hold on, where's my thing? I said, hey, Dave of a year ago might have been interested. Dave of December 2022. I think I found somebody. She's like, really? I said, no, I'm being real. I think I found somebody. He said, oh. Well, you want to like sow your oats before you figure it out? And I said, no, I'm going to give this a chance. And here's the thing. I didn't know Destiny from a can of paint. We just started talking. Susie, Steve, it could have not end up being the one. It could have been like another, near miss. You know what I'm saying? False flag. And I could have been regretting, dang, man. I had one chick from my past that was ready to give it to me. I had a new chick that was ready to, jump off the chandelier. But I said, no, man, I don't want that. I've been there in life. I really do want the wife, and I want to see if this is it. So I gave up the possibility of just having some fun for the possibility of finding the one. And it paid off and it paid off for me. But I'm saying that, Susie, to tell Steve, there may be a moment, Steve. Oh Lord, I'm about to mess your whole trip up. There may be a moment in Rio.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
There may be a moment in Rio. Steve, she gonna be the coldest. And you're gonna be like, and then you're gonna meet somebody right before you go to Rio. Hi, brother Hartfield. Oh my God, Steve. You're like, man, I really like this girl, Dave. She great, man. Dag, Dave. She everything I need. I really like her. You gonna go to Rio? You're gonna be propositioned. You're gonna have to make a decision, sir.
Put that
But
on me, man.
Don't respond.
those
Don't
kind
respond.
of decisions.
I'm putting that on you because I'm your brother in Christ. I'm putting it on you because I know what you want out of life. Don't even respond. Just listen. See my face when you in Rio or wherever you at. Remember my eyes. I told you, Negro.
But if you don't meet anyone before you go, enjoy yourself.
Enjoy
But
yourself. Enjoy
All right,
yourself.
Rick. All right.
Rick
those kind of
James,
decisions,
enjoy yourself.
those kind of decisions that you make, like when you turn something down and you're not even sure about the other thing, those kind of things should build your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Like, yeah, I really am growing as a man. I really am ready for a wife. Like that's the perspective. If you can flip everything to the
Yeah,
perspective
but
to
you
build
ain't. I'm
you,
gonna be real with you. You ain't thinking like that in the moment.
yeah, but
Listen.
later.
In
That's
the
what I'm
moment,
saying.
in the moment, when a toxic chick that you know you don't need to deal with, but she cold blooded, when she throwing it at you, in the moment you're not thinking, man, I'm really growing in Christ. I'm really maturing as a man, and maybe God is bringing me
As
my
a
wife.
woman, we go through the same thing. When those exes come with a good head and you just want to be Lord, come on by. You know my
You over here
address.
talking to God. You over here like Jesus, Lord. All right, yo. So hear me. I had to cut certain people off, Susie.
Rightfully so.
Susie, you and me are able to be friends because we were friends. We were platonic
Yes.
friends.
There's no history.
People that were in that gray area can't be friends with y'all. I'm about to get married. I cannot. Because look, let's say I invite a used to be potential to my wedding, and she decides she want to get drunk and act out, and then my wife say, baby, how do you know this chick? Who is she? And then it comes out there was a thing, or hell no.
Jeopardizing your marriage. That's why
Ain't
that
worth it.
emotional intelligence
Ain't worth it.
is so important as a woman when I'm like in relation, when I'm dating. If that man doesn't have that emotional aptitude to know what's going to secure us, that means you're not thinking about us. You're endangering my emotions, and I'm a crybaby, and I might not be able to go to work because I'm heartbroken. And how I'm gonna take care of it? I be thinking way ahead. If you break my heart, how am I gonna provide for myself? Like,
You
like,
good?
no, you don't have enough.
It's over.
Susie, the thing for you that I've always thought in my mind is, you know, the advice, Kevin 11 gave me, Dave, everybody ain't your wife. You can't give your best to everyone. You have to choose better. And I'm talking about me, right? Choose better. I think about that when I hear about your life and your stories. I always say, man, I want Susie to choose better. Now,
I've gotten better at choosing.
Good.
Over time.
Because
I'm still.
this thing, I know as a woman, it's a little different, right? Because see, this is the thing, and this is after dark. Oh shoot, we had 2.5 hours. We having a serious show right now. We didn't have a show within the show. So we're gonna go in 2 minutes. But I'm gonna say this. This is after dark. Okay, we're grown. All right. I'm gonna say this in a way that y'all can understand it. Ladies, you control the coochie gate. You decide who get that coochie. Men, you control the relationship gate. You decide who gets that ring and who gets that relationship. Men. Because women want security in relationship and men want intimacy and physical touch. Men want coochie, women want security. Whether it's money security or whether it's relationship security, they want security. So, ladies, stop giving out your coochie like chiclets. I'm not saying Susie Q, okay?
Oh, I know, but chiclets just made it so much better.
Stop giving your coochie out like Tic Tacs. And men, stop giving out money and security and relationships like Tic Tacs or chiclets. We got to be stingy in who we're giving our time. Because, Steve, you can't give your time and your pursuit to every chick because every chick ain't worth it. So that means we have to evaluate better.
Oh, yeah, because that's the brand, bro. That's the brand. Like, as I'm creating the film franchise, I can't be out with any kind of, you know what I'm saying, like just like any kind of broad out here, bro. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, I have to start thinking about my future more. Like the Steve that was in LA, and the Steve that you see before you are different men
different
because I
people.
have to move different now.
Yep.
I can't be a film producer and be, you know what I'm saying, making all this stuff, doing all this stuff, and then I'm out and goddamn, you know, in the club every night, like strip club, you know what I'm saying? So
Right. And on top of that, from an energy standpoint and a testosterone standpoint, you create better when you reserve and chill and hold back. You become a better creator because you got more energy and you got more. It's a drive. It's a passion. Yo, even I'm gonna say this, y'all. The show got better when I committed to a couple of days a week doing research. You know, Susie, people would say, "Hey, I need your topic sooner. I need you to start on time." And granted, tonight slightly late, slightly, but I'm getting much better at putting out topics, starting on time, hosting and facilitating, taking things into account. Even when it comes down to this, I showed y'all the timer. Even the timer, just having a 60-second timer and keeping things in place, I'm getting better. And what I'm learning is the more I put time into this podcast, the more the podcast rewards me.
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours.
That's
Susie,
right.
you know how many times I've been like, dang, I don't really have a good topic or I don't know what to say. Do you know the enemy will attack me and be like, man, you shouldn't be doing this. You only got 3 people on right now. This ain't going to go nowhere. What are you doing? Ain't nobody listening to you. But like you said, sometimes just start the show, and some of the best shows are the ones where not enough people showed up, or, you know what I'm saying? Or we kind of was winging it on the topic. And there's been times when I've put out clips from the show and memes that set up the show, and I got 100,000 views on the short, just to remind me, yes, someone's listening. And I didn't tell y'all this, Susie, but advertisers are starting to hit me, and people are starting to ask me, hey, so do you want to do some type of thing? Like, you definitely have a brand. So I'm now starting to take meetings with advertisers and think about stuff. And you saw when a certain celebrity hit us up when we were live and sent me stuff and was like, yo, you need to talk about this because you're touching a point. You're hitting a nerve.
Congratulations. Why you didn't give yourself the horn? What is wrong with you?
Damn, 100? God dang.
Yeah, so we had yeah. So, having said that, y'all, we're gonna let everybody roll out. I think tonight was a good discussion, and I think that sometimes when we have a round discussion where we discuss everything, and I want to make a point. Sometimes people are like, you gotta stay on the topic. That's not how it works sometimes. Sometimes the best discussions happen when you let it organically morph. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I'm gonna run my show the way I want to run it. That's a subliminal to who's ever watching. No offense to whoever's watching.
Do.
Yeah, we got to step out there and do it our way. Steve, thank you for joining, man. I appreciate you. Susie Q, thank you for joining. It's the After Dark podcast, man. Subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, man. Steve, I'll see you next time. Susie, I'll see you next time. All right. Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
Y'all be good, man. Peace out, y'all.